Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers. I believe I've started because it's 1 p.m. and it's Monday. And we are back again. It's storming here, so I hope everything goes good through the day here. Holy moly. Welcome to Trucking Answers. We got Werner, profits are up. Can you believe it? Westfield Transport closed. We got a number of things to talk about. So I want to welcome everybody to the show. All right, so let me do some clicking as usual, because I don't have any idea what I'm doing. All right, thank you, everybody, for being here. Today, Michael Muller was first today, but I have to say that first was really Mr. Skeptical on Tuesday. So Mr. Skeptical was in first on Tuesday. Thank you all for being here. Glenn Boatman, I see that you're here on Sunday. Thank you for being out there. Tom is here, going to go to Raleigh. Thanks for coming in. Luke, blew a tire. An hour is great for service. I mean, who thinks that's good? That's awesome. Mad Maldy, what's going on? Misty, Glenn is always an early bird. Yes, thank you for that, of course. After 4 hours, you get minimum wage. This is not Pam. Nobody gets minimum wage. Pam, holy moly. Somebody wrote to me about Pam. That's what I'm thinking about. Marty, what's going on? Let's see here. Al, thanks for coming in. DA is here from the west side. Cash is king. I'm glad you made it. Rolling in $3 a mile freight. I'm taking all that cheap freight from everybody. Yikes. You're leaving Outdoors Hillbilly. He's going to leave Columbus to Iowa City. That's pretty good. Peterbilt 379. Thanks for coming in today. It's good to see you. Trucker John is here from Mooresville, North Carolina. Yikes. Trucker Hershey's also waiting to get loaded and getting paid, I should hope. Good afternoon, James Faust. Jim Trucker, it is going great here. Aranza, Mickey, right. Greetings from Texas. Red Wine, thank you for being here today. Lawrence, what's going on? Dave Johnson from Buffalo, New York. Is the snow finally melt up there? Yikes. Tony, what's going on in Sweetwater, Texas, where there is currently no snow? Brian, what's happening? North Carolina, big guy from Washington, but North Carolina. Nice. Kitty Ling, you might go to Stevens Transport. Well, let's see what people think about that. So, Felipe, what's going on in Detroit? Nice. Home of the Henry Ford Museum, which I hope to get to eventually. Fatty 2x4 with one of the best names on YouTube. Earth Sun Trucker from Illinois to Bettendorf, Iowa. That's not super long, really. Nasty, what's going on? New Mexico. There's somebody from everybody. Geeks Trucking is here. It's good to see you. You got a 34-hour break today, so you can watch. How's that tank going on? What happened? Did you get to drive it around? That's my question. Jimmy, I see it didn't work, though. I think JB Hunt profits were up, too. Their stock is up like 10. Well, I got some info about Werner here. They just announced their second quarter stuff, which I thought is interesting because almost the same day the ATA came out and said there's a huge driver shortage. So let's decide, really, if there's a shortage or what the problem is. If there's no drivers, what's happening? Semper Fi Trucking, hello there. Alan, greetings from L.A. Wow, everybody's out west today. The Road Warrior. In Illinois also, you'll need it there. Chris, no snow in Orlando. Mickey Mouse. I remember taking chocolate Mickey Mouses from Roswell, New Mexico, of all things, to Disney World years ago. One of the best loads I've ever had, and I didn't know Disney World has their own industrial park. I thought, I'm going to Disney. No. They have their own industrial park for that place, so I thought it was pretty good. Ryan got fingerless gloves and a billfold on a chain. Yes, ready to listen. And look forward to the show. Thank you. That's mandatory. Those are all mandatory. How can you drive without fingerless gloves? I mean, a hand slip off. Do I think the new speed limiter mandate will kill the owner-operators? I think they're not going to like it. But I think a lot of them will do it. People talk a lot, big game, but then what are they going to go do? They're not going to sell their truck and go do something else. So I think a lot of people will stay. Some will retire, whatever, but I don't think everybody's leaving the industry. Jason, you're working local in Miami. What do you think about it down there? Certainly, you can work year-round, too. And are you getting paid hourly for that? Dan from Motown. And for other people, right, where'd you find a local job? How did you find it? I mean, Indeed, or how did it come to you, Can't see me. Oh, crap. Right, see, I have no idea what I'm doing. All right, that might be better, right. Not that anybody wants to see me, but all right. So there, and now I'm coming back in. Brilliant. Good job, Mark. Jason, good afternoon from California. Hey, is U.S. Express okay if you get a dedicated customer? Look, all these large places, they're only okay, really, on a dedicated customer. It still doesn't pay great, but at least you have a dedicated thing there. Even a mega carrier at a dedicated spot, that's where people write to me and say, oh, okay, it's not bad here anymore. Just the general freight at a mega carrier. I mean, let's see what does the cat think about a mega carrier? That's what she thinks about it. So without the dedicated run, I don't know. I don't know if I would do, a mega carrier like that. That's the real problem of it. Misty's headed to the mines in California today. Wow. Doing these training videos for your employer. My old employer has basically aren't using me now. At least they're doing it for something other than trucking, right? Scotty is in Houston, Texas. Yeah, can't see me. No one complains about that, believe me. Stay away from U.S. Express. People are saying if you're already there, the thing to do is go get a dedicated route there. Don't. It's easier to stay somewhere on a dedicated route than move, certainly. Cash is King is broke down in Mississippi. Yikes. The last video you were rolling this cheap freight around. You'll have to update us on what's going on. Good afternoon from Georgia, John Connor. Thanks for coming in. I saw a report there's too many drivers and not enough loads. Well, here's the thing. Let's talk about this Werner thing. I thought this was really interesting. Okay, their revenue. They just released second quarter. And Werner, right, huge company. So their revenue is up, okay, 1.4% from 619 million to 627, but really revenue doesn't tell the whole story. That's just how much money you make. It's what you keep. Well, it turns out their profits are up 13% on that money. So they went from 38.2 million to 43.3 million. So it's not just revenue that is up there. They're actually making more money on the money that they make. Ooh, that's pretty good. I should put that on some kind of business site. Anyhow, why do they say they're doing that? They increased their trucks by 5.2%. They added trucks. They said that's why they're making more money. Well, how can that be? Because then right away we see this ATA story. Oh, there's a huge driver shortage. Well, how can Werner add trucks and make money if they can't get drivers for them? Well, because it's a lie. That's why. That's why. Werner's making more money and more revenue. So there's just lies everywhere. I think company drivers are not seeing as much problem in the industry as, other people. Appleton, Wisconsin from Durango, Mike. No, Geek said no. They blew it up already. Oh, that stinks. I thought that was a super cool load, really. I wish it would have drove. We could have got to drive it. Monday, James Faust, Monday is Roller Wiener Day. Yes, Monday starts our week out. Everybody should get their Roller Wiener on Monday. GT40 from California. James is in the Bay Bridge in Brooklyn. Yikes. Getting used to operating. Where'd I go here? Right. So, of course, as usual, I lost myself in operating a pneumatic trailer at Misty. Okay, what do you think about that? I haven't done anything about that. What do you think about it? Would you recommend it? Steel Horse says, no snow here and don't get snowballed. Don't go to Stevens. Oh, that's very good. That's very good. So the 65 mandate is pushing through. Well, it's currently just moving along. There's nothing, it's not set yet, and it hasn't moved forward from where it was before, but it's gaining steam. People love it. All these safety advocates just think it's the best thing of it. You'll deal with it. Geek's right. Which just, look, it would have been cool to drive it around. Last week you saw Needle Nose Auto Car dump truck. Yikes. Why don't you get some pictures of these things? Because you hardly see any of those. Working in North Carolina, been a subscriber for a long time, an owner-operator reefer. Jeremy, what do you think about the industry right now? How is it going for you? Alex, you love your local driving job. You haul steel and found through a temporary agency. Oh, that's interesting. I've recommended that to before. They offered you a position when your 90 days are up, at least in Indianapolis. There's a temp job down there, and there are a number of temp agencies, $27 an hour. Overtime past 40, home every day. They said it's 50 to 60 hours a week. You're looking at, high teens a week, $1,500 to $1,700 a week, home daily through a temp agency. Okay, so I don't think that's bad money. Is there an amount of hours you need to have out of school before you go on your own? It just depends on each company. There's not a legal amount. As long as you have your license, you're all set. What do I think about Averett? Well, I will tell you, there's a driver on here that used to work for Averett that can tell us. What do we think about that, Mr. Cash? Happy Nash Transport going semi-crazy. I like you dedicated at Werner, but home daily is better for me. Yeah. Usually once people do that, they generally stay with it, Geeks Trucking says oversized and heavy haul is the only way to go. I will tell you, you're doing very good there. There's no denying it. And your loads are super interesting. I love seeing when that offset load that you had that was way over to one side of the trailer. Super interesting. That's every day it's a mental challenge to try to get the load so it doesn't fall off. Nevada pulled you over for Class 1 inspection pass, but still look out on US 95. Did you get a sticker for that? I don't know if the Class 1 is the sticker or not. And do you get paid for it? I don't get paid if we pass the inspection. They're just like, you're supposed to pass. James Faust, what is up with Westfield? Westfield Transport is this company that was involved in the motorcycle accident in New Hampshire, where what's-his-face, whose name I can't pronounce, he had that accident and killed those motorcycle drivers. They closed. The company closed its doors. So now there's no company. There's nothing. So that's even worse for the surviving people. All they're going to get is the insurance. There's not going to be anybody to sue. The company's closed, and they'll probably open under a new name. But that's just the end of it. The kid will go to jail that was driving. Kid, right? He's 23 or something. And that's it. There's like $750,000 of insurance to split between everybody. Fatty 2x4 hit the taco stands in Drums for lunch today. You're a day early on that, right? Stay away from Wood Fruit Shit or Food Service. I don't know who that is, right? Don't go to Stevens. What CDL school would you recommend? Depends. A lot of it depends on where you live and that kind of thing. Jimmy, we can't, not one certain place, but where do you live? Todd McGuire, what area do you live in? Right. Oh, there we go. Do you like your store? Are you going to Storm Area 51? Of course. They can't kill us all. I don't see how they could. And we're going to get some good food there because what's his face from from the Food Network said he's going to cook meals for everybody. So I don't say they could check a truck to see if it said it's 65 when they're not allowed to plug a computer. They're going to be plugging the computer into the truck, and it'll be part of your annual inspection. I think they'll mandate that'll be part of a check, and it's certainly going to be part of your annual. You're waiting on Jimmy John's sandwich to arrive. Did you get like Uber Eats to bring food to you or something, which I always thought was not a bad idea. And drivers, if you're sitting at a truck stop, how about signing up for like Shipped or one of those places? You can get grocery store food delivered to you wherever you are. So people don't have an excuse anymore I can't get to the grocery store. The food will come to you. There's a lot of different services that will deliver the whole grocery store to you, really. You should see Werner's Yard in Ohio. They have power units laying all over, tons of them. Plus, you're seeing Werner power units pulling U.S. Express. Yeah, they have some kind of interchange agreement. The numbers, though, don't lie about them. They made more money. They had more revenue and made more profit with more trucks that they're rolling. So, if there's a driver shortage, who's driving all these extra trucks? It's going good, says Jeremy. Don't understand when they say freight is down. Been getting over $250 a mile. Okay, see, so there, why are there people out here complaining that, the spot rate, we're getting 80 cents or whatever, and I see some of you guys making okay money still with it, that very good money on it. DOT is against speed limiters because safety groups have been trying to get them to enforce. The DOT would love to enforce speed limiters. They usually can't get it past their own level. I mean, they're all in on that kind of thing. 65 miles up a hill is good since you only go down up them at 25. People won't pass you as fast, right? Well, how much did that tank weigh? I don't know. Remember if you said it, I forget. I'm curious about that. It didn't look that big. Averett has a quack doctor wants everyone a CPAP. So is Averett in on the CPAP thing too? A lot of these companies are in on the doctor thing in the back. There's a back end kickback. Semperfi is an owner-operator with Crete. Okay, went with contracted freight instead of the spot market. It's working out for now until rates go back up. So do you get the same rate on each load then? Is that what you're saying instead of like percentage? I'm not sure how that works there at Crete. Nasty habits start out when you get your license with a local job pulling pneumatics for 12 years and got to be okay with being out in the weather and don't mind the noise. But your home, local home every day, worth it. Troy, who's Westfield? That's that company in that had that motorcycle accident. He was pulling really a hot shot, but it was still a trucking company, and he had a CDL. That's been a month or two ago when all those motorcycle drivers died because that guy doesn't know what he's doing. May have been drunk, right? No indication of that, so they said, but he has DUI arrests. Company closed down. See what the problem is? It's that bad apples that give us truckers a bad name and the general public that knows nothing about the industry. Yeah, and so we all have these people voting for us. They never even been in a truck. They can't even see a truck out of their tinted limousine windows. What's a CPAP? That's the device you use to sleep. The positive air pressure, right? Constant positive airway pressure, I believe is what it stands for. If not, somebody will correct that. And you wear that at night. and it helps you sleep so that you get a good night's sleep. Once it's mandated by a doctor, though, at the company, you have to wear it. You have to have a certain percentage of time that you use it, and, it's just not worth it. If you need it, you should get it. But these companies some of them, how can a company mandate, 80% of the drivers here have it, but then at another company, only 20% have it? It can't be that kind of difference. It's got to be that some companies are getting a kickback on the thing. It's got to be. That scared the crap out of you for 3,000 miles, but you did it. Right. I thought that thing was really fascinating to see on there. And pneumatic dust trucks aren't for everyone. You spend 2 to 4 hours of your 14 losing or unloading in the heat, but don't get paid for everything. But you do get paid for everything, right? And like it, but I enjoy not sitting all day. It's interesting work. I've never done a pneumatic like that, and that's pretty good. How would you find that kind of job? I mean, is that kind of job just posted somewhere? Do you know somebody? And did they train you, or did you already know how to do it? Red Monkey Trucking is here. What's going on, Red Monkey Trucking? Ohio's also in the house. You're pretty sure they can kill us all? They cannot kill us all. They cannot do it over there. Believe me. And they're not. And how would that look on the news? Everybody's going to be live streaming that. So no, they can't get everybody. That's what the doctor at USA wanted me to be back on. It's whack. If some companies, they want 75% of their drivers. That's the problem. It's their doctor, and then so there's some kind of kickback in it. There's got to be some kind of kickback. Otherwise, why would everybody at some place need to be on it? That should be between you and your doctor, what your medical care is. A trucking company shouldn't be able to dictate your medical care. So when a general public sees a major headline where a trucker is speeding and causes a pileup, the public thinks that speed limiters are a good thing. Yeah, except for their own cars. Certainly. Pay for your own school and lease a truck and do oversize and heavy. Once a truck gets horrible and turning, get another one. Look, if you're going to lease, at least lease from one of these trucking companies. And then at least they do all the maintenance and everything on the truck. So all maintenance, you don't have to worry about a tire. You don't have to worry about really anything, right? Even headlights, everything should be covered in that thing. Stephen, grocery store delivery. The only thing I don't like about Schuster's is single bunk internationals. Do you use the top bunk, though? I mean, I always would have it folded up anyway. So, I don't know. Some people use it as storage up there, but then it seems like it's too small below. Keith, greetings from First AD at Fort Bliss. Thanks for the work. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Any suggestions on how to get away from the non-compete contract as a student or a new driver, James? Well, look, I'm not a lawyer. Let's put that out there. So, you're not a lawyer, Mark? No, I'm not a lawyer, surprisingly. But if you look around on Google, you can Google these up where people challenge these. They're never able to be enforced. A company can't say, all right, you can't work in this industry ever unless you work for us. That's slavery, right? That's basically indentured servitude. So I wouldn't be as worried about that non-compete as some are. The only problem with the non-compete, it's not really from a legal perspective. It's that other companies seem to honor it. So you go, all right, I worked at company A. And you're trying to apply over here at company B. And they go, all right, well, we know this company has a non-compete, so we're not going to hire you. They seem to be, a den of thieves where they all, honor each other's contracts. But legally, they're not going to be able to take you to court and say, you can't work in the industry ever for the next 18 months. It's not like you have some industry secret. That's what a non-compete is for. Or like you couldn't open a company, like another trucking company down the street from them. But they can't say you're not allowed to make a living. That kind of thing, probably would not be allowed. But you should seek legal advice from a lawyer or from Google, which is where most of us get our information from. That kind of thing, though, I wouldn't be that worried about it other than moving somewhere else. Geeks is mad about anything under $3.50 a mile. It seems like drivers think deregulation is the death of the industry. There aren't many drivers left that drove during regulation. I mean, I started in 88. It was already over by then. So you have to have been driving for quite a while to have been here during that time. And if you're still here now, you must have at least gotten used to the new policies. Al John says, Ozark let a chiropractor do a physical. It depends on the state. Okay, in Indiana here, a nurse practitioner can do the physical. That's who does them here. And I don't know if a chiropractor can, but you don't have to be a doctor, at least in Indiana, to do a DOT physical. All they do is, make you touch your toes and, they show Nerf balls to you literally that are red and green and ask you, what color are these? So Geek says the tank, it was only 28,000. Oh, so it's super tiny. It just seems like a tank would weigh more than that. All right, well, I don't think it's that big then. I heard an Averett doctor owns a sleep study facility in Tennessee. I never asked him. I'm sure there's got to be a kickback when it's like that. Certainly when it's like that. Enjoy. Thanks for being here. With Werner, I'm getting $1.05 loaded or empty. Well, Sean, I don't think that's great money, considering, there are company drivers that are approaching that money that have been at places for a while, but $1.05 is not great as an owner-operator. Spam Light, looking for a good CB shop. Oh, yeah, who's going on for that? Canada already does a speed limiter. That's true, right? And they have their officers trained to use the computer for the truck to check in their YouTube videos. Yes, in Canada, they do it. That's correct, right. They also don't allow driver-facing cameras in Canada, which is great. They should pass speed limiters in cars. More accidents? Oh, absolutely. No, if it's going to pass, it should be everybody. 45. Let's see if we can get that passed. What is the new federal database for failed drug tests? All right, I did do a video about this, ex-lady driver, and we will talk about it later in the year as it comes up. Next year, there's going to be a federal database that everybody will have to be in for a drug test if you go to change companies. If you don't change companies, it really won't affect you, but companies will be required to check this database to see if you have any failed drug tests. So everybody will need to get in that database when they go to change companies. Exactly. And there is a video I did about it. But if you're not going to change companies, it won't matter. But you won't be able to fail a test anymore and continue driving. Because that guy in Indianapolis, too. I didn't even write this down. That driver that killed those people in Indianapolis the other day, just not that long ago? He falsified his DOT physical. I guess it's not a drug thing, but he falsified his DOT physical and had 12 violations and was still driving. It's just so aggravating. Then you go through an inspection, they pull you over for a light out. Rich, starting Dollar General on my review. Oh, as their Dollar General private fleet, right. $1,300 to $1,900 a week. Refrigerated home weekly. All right, thank you for saying that, and I'm glad. No one's gone to Dollar General there in only certain locations, but certainly the way to do Dollar General is on their private fleet, so that is pretty awesome. Steel Horse has new trucks on order. 435 trade-in trucks, 225. No problem hiring drivers. There you go. Your place, it just has no problem hiring drivers, I'm sure. So since there's no problem there, where's all the driver shortage? Werner even put 5.2% more trucks, 5.2% more trucks on the road. So where's all this shortage, ATA? I never see the ATA on the show. Jeremy, if you want Kennedy Brothers out of North Carolina, it's a pretty good company. If people want to be home weekly, Eastern North Carolina, get some freight through them and heard nothing but good things. Yeah, part of the place, any place, are reviews. It's so easy to post a review now. I was told by a recruiter, Kitty says, I love it. I was told by a recruiter from Stevens that when the truck is moving, you can't sleep in the sleeper berth. And they say you make $40,000 the first year. It would be hard to sleep in the sleeper berth if you were driving. I agree with that. So I don't exactly, I don't know exactly what they said. There's their sleeper berth right there. So I don't know what that means about, what exactly they're talking about. Rich, I was going to do Dollar General before doing what I'm doing now, Geeks Trucking. Yeah, were you going to do Dollar General private fleet, though? This is the Dollar General has their own fleet of trucks. DOT creating more stupid laws to make more money to support the corporations, but eliminates drivers at the same time and creates driver shortage by robbing drivers. Well, the laws certainly don't help. The only companies that complain about a driver shortage, though, are companies that don't pay anything. It seems like the lower the pay, the bigger the shortage. I wonder how that works. Hey, WV checking in from West Virginia. What's going on? Peterbilt says, in your opinion, it's not Republicans versus Democrats because both sides have tried to pass ridiculous regulation. Well, that's certainly true. There's no limit on the ridiculous regulations, really. Now they got Stormlick. What is Stormlick? Mark for governor. That would be really something. Governor of Indiana. But then I couldn't help everybody. I could only help people in Indiana. Jimmy, how about that net tax on buying a new truck? Uncle Sam's needs to keep his hands. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so I wrote this down. The average used truck price this year is up over last year, too. Up 6%. The average used truck price, which I just thought was interesting, $48,800, and it's up. So there has to be a demand for the trucks for the price to go up. I get paid for pretty post-trip driving breaks. Only thing you don't get paid for is sleeping. That's really good. That's how it should be, right? All your work is paid, is what you're saying. If you're working, you're being paid like a kid at McDonald's, right? Like the guy that gets the carts in at Meijer. Exactly. Now, trucker, she says, now they got storm Loch Ness. 1 million people. Nessie can't hide from us all. Well, Nessie's been doing a good job of that. And I think that's harder to get because we all got to go somewhere. Here, we all just need to drive over to Area 51. Red Monkey Trucking. What if we break in Area 51 and find out the aliens are actually cars and they've been living amongst us the whole time? We don't know what's going to happen. And here's the other thing about storming Area 51 and killing us all. All that have to do, one person gets in and gets the technology in there and revives everybody. Think about that. So don't worry about getting killed. We'll be revived by the people that make it in. Geek says your truck is 100% covered. Right, that's what I was thinking. So if anything, leasing at a place like these leasing companies, everything is covered. You don't have any kind of unexpected expense to cover you, even though I'm not a fan of leasing. At least here, engine's out. It doesn't matter what it is, right? Everything's covered at any of the shops anywhere in the country. So that is a super good benefit. Is that trailer from that place too? Do they lease that trailer from the same place? Todd McGuire, Greenville, South Carolina. Archibald, double bunk for a solo driver. It's just in the way. Yeah, I always found that I just leave it up. So I guess it depends. I mean, maybe people like it up there, but I didn't use it for storage. Some people I know have a bunch of stuff stored up there. I don't like it though. Paid by the hour is the way to go. Yes, paid full wages for the whole time. I totally agree. Drug tests are the easiest test ever. They should be for everybody, right? James says chiropractors can do the DOT physical. Yeah, maybe here they can. Exactly. And I own 2 trucks, and if every single part, it wouldn't cost anywhere near the price of leasing, but every situation is different. Yeah, it depends. You know, to get it, but to get in, if you're going to lease, look, at least get one that has fully covered so you don't have all these expenses and you could build some money up. How's Werner doing their Canada work with trucks that aren't turned down to 65? I always wondered, companies that go to Canada, do they only use trucks that are Canada compliant? You know, that kind of thing? I'm not sure about that. Misty, you went through 3 weeks of training at Apex. Oh, bulk. All right, a week class and a week driving and a week following in a truck. All right, so it's interesting. And you found it on Indeed. So here's a job posted with training for people and can get into a different part of the field. I think that's really great. Cassius King likes the Adidas tracksuit. You did look good in it the other day when you had that on, and you showed that video of you running. That was pretty good. What companies need to do is properly train drivers. That's how you stop the wrecks. If everybody was trained, if everybody would pay attention, this guy in Indianapolis here, he'd been driving for years. All right, this is a trained driver. You got to pay attention to what you're doing. Holy moly. Problem is that a lot of companies try to cheap out and everything, and train drivers the cheapest way possible. That's certainly true. Geeks doesn't have any idea how to fix a truck. I'm with you, right? I don't even know how to check the oil before trucking school. Well, I can only do like headlights and stuff like that. And now this truck, I can't even do that because the whole thing is a whole headlight assembly or whatever. Misty said the first full week's pay was $1,200 bring home. That is excellent. To start, $1,200, and that's just getting going. Once you learn the system and all that, it should just get better and better, right? That's what I'm thinking. Cassius King sees Dollar General trucks all over Alabama and Mississippi. Isn't that where most of their stores are, right? Are these the Dollar General private fleet trucks? Why aren't CDL drivers protected by HIPAA laws? They are, with regard to the DOT physical. It shouldn't matter what you had as opposed to how you currently are. Well, you are. That's why, at least here, when you go in and take a physical, you have to sign that you're going to release that information to your company. So presumably if you didn't release it to the company, though, they can't hire you. Although, so you still are protected. The law says, all right, I'm not going to release this information to anybody, but then the company won't hire you. So it's, you're still protected, but you have to decide what you want to do with the information. Todd says there's a retention problem, not a shortage problem. Yeah, look, everybody jumping around jobs because they're, most of them are horrible, a lot of jobs. Steven says home time in Milwaukee. Nice. Home of Harley Davidson. Jay James, good afternoon. Well, Mark, you know that? Yeah, it's in the news. I saw it. Al Johns, you did Dollar General with Werner. Lasted 2 months. You're too old and out of shape. The Dollar General private fleet, who I talked to at the truck show in Louisville, right, their trucks, all the stuff is on roller carts. So it wasn't hand unloading and anything like that. And it paid way better than doing Dollar General with a third party carrier. You'd like to see the 70-hour clock go away, Sean G, and replace it with what? 60-hour clock. Let's see. 60-hour clock? Mark for president 2024. Holy moly. That would really be something. That would be incredible. We'd have straws for everybody. Well, because I just got an email about that. So I want to know about the 70-hour clock. Sierra England just backed into your truck at the Flying J for lunch. So did they back into your truck for lunch? And hopefully, did you capture that on a dash cam? More drivers are buying older trucks because new trucks are expensive. Yeah, they don't like all the technology, and yeah, they're super a lot of money. $48,800 for a used truck. It didn't say what year the average used truck, though, was, so I'm curious about that. CDL drivers have more laws to obey than MDs, lawyers, and politicians. Yeah, it's crazy. All the laws, and you're a professional, and then some companies are going to start you like at 27 cents a mile, like Western Express on their West Coast division. Every country has an Area 51. Yeah, Jimmy, how's the home time at Schuster? Yeah, I don't have it off the top of my head. Somebody here will know it. I prefer my drug test to be multiple choice. James Faust asks who I drive for. Well, that's interesting. I never get that question, so that's good of you to ask. I don't ever say who I drive for, though, for all the new people, and that keeps them out of my videos. And I also don't recruit for them. Everybody is recruiting for their company. Hey, here's my number in the description. I don't do any of that, all right? I let them recruit for themselves. So that's how I leave it with that. In Texas, where you get your physical, it's a chiropractor. So other states allow non-doctors. The speed limiter is just another way for the ATA to get rid of owner-operators. I will say Werner said owner-operator miles were down at Werner. Owner-operator miles were down where company driver miles were up. So I think that's interesting. Kim, what's going on? GP Transco is here. Both dash cams were delivered as of Saturday. Are the winners on here today? I do not think so yet. So not yet, and they may be here, and I thank you very much for that. Here's GP Transco. If anybody needs information, right, from a good company to drive for, there's some info right there. They're here in the chat, and check them out right there. So, and even the cat says, what? What did you say about that? All right, Mark, you're getting crazy. All right, back to this. Right, the speed limiter, both dash cams right in there. Where am I here? I'm lost. No more regulations, pay, speed limiting, or anything else. We have enough for now. Can we just hang with the ones that we have? Todd says home time for Schuster's 10 to 21 days and live in Chicago and roll through often. Yeah, if you're, okay, so I can imagine that if you're in a major city or whatever, you should get home at a reasonable time, right? If you live in East Armpit, nowhere land, you may have to move. I've requested some people move that write to me. Oh, I live in the middle of no place. Well, you may have to move, if you don't want to commute 120 miles to a truck. What owner-operators offer is high-speed, fast service, if a company needs that. I go to Canada, and your truck will do 75. Do they not check? I mean, Canada is speed limited up there. And I've seen the videos that they're talking about where they check the trucks. Lime green and orange Adidas tracksuits will make everyone compliant with OSHA. That's not a bad idea. And pink, too. Don't forget the pink OSHA-compliant suits. Don't you have to know your way around under the hood of a truck to get your CDL? You have to be able to point out things. So it's just like at school where it's just a memorization. This is this, this is that, this is this, that's it, right? You don't really have to know. And really, who's going to be fixing? Most company drivers are not going to fix anything major on their truck anyway. I wouldn't think. I wouldn't do it for free, certainly. I'm not fixing anything for free on there. They can pay me to fix it, or they can pay somebody else to fix it. David says you're a driver, not a fixer. That's the mechanic's job. I agree. Now, I'll pop a light into a trailer if I'm dropping and hooking somewhere to get on the road rather than wasted time. But that's about the max I'll do for them without some kind of talk or some kind of money. 1 minute repair. And what I do is just steal it out of the next trailer. And that's all our trailers. So don't worry about that. I'm not stealing it, right? They still have the same number of lights. But that's it. Beyond that, you should get paid. Any repairs should be paid at a mechanic's rate. So if they're willing to pay a TA $250 to repair something, they should be willing to pay you $250 to repair it. Kim, Smith is starting to become more of a mega carrier mentality. They're not that big. Bugging you about overspeed where you weren't even going over the speed limit. And your pre-trip only being 12 minutes. Oh, do they have a policy where your pre-trip has to be logged for so many minutes? That's so ridiculous. The DOT doesn't require any certain amount of time for a pre-trip or anything else for that matter. but a company can have time, and I know some companies require a certain amount of time. That's been annoying you for a couple of days. Yeah, that is annoying. Like, okay, so it took 12 minutes, so I got to sit here for 3 minutes. I mean, that's crazy. Timothy is baking in Laredo, I can imagine. It cooled off here with the huge storm that went through. Kim Mark for FMCSA director. Oh, you think I could get appointed as that? That would be awesome. Talking over speed is usually the engine RPM. That's crazy. I mean, how far over the speed limit do you have to be for them to get annoyed with you as well? The rolltainers don't roll very well. I never rolled them. I will give you that. It just looked like a good idea. It seemed like a better idea than touching 3,000 boxes at a Dollar General when it's 100 degrees out. If they don't work good, I guess it wouldn't help. Large car can 80 hours in 8 days would be all I would change. Oh, that's another 10 hours of work. The problem with the 10 hours, they're going to make you sit 10 more hours. I mean, that is a lot of work. Let's be honest about it. Let's make more rather than working more. That's what I'm trying to get out there. 80 hours seems exhausting in 8 days. Just wondering where a good place to buy groceries besides Walmart. Here, Ryan. Well, I shop at Meijer. I don't shop at Walmart. I haven't made any secret about that. I don't like going in there at all. I don't shop there. You can be at a truck stop, though. Look up Shipt, SHIPT, and they're not paying for that or anything, And that's a grocery delivery service. There are others, too. DoorDash, I think, does some of this. You can sign up with those, order from a grocery store, and have it delivered to whatever address you put in there. Because I asked them about it. I go, could a truck driver do this? Yes. So you can use say you're at a TA. You can use the address of the TA, order your groceries, and in some places it can be as short as an hour. Groceries are delivered to you fresh from the grocery store in the area. Bingo. All your fresh food you want. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to, can I bobtail over? It doesn't matter. You're not moving the truck. You don't have to worry about it. And you can still get all the fresh food you want. Yeah, I did. He only got my mirror, so not too much damage. I mean, he shouldn't be getting anything, certainly. Any news from the FMCSA? No, I looked right before this show. I thought, is there going to be an hours of service announcement? No. Nothing yet. They're silent. And they did say the 31st may not be set in stone, which is crazy, but it is possible that we won't even get an announcement on the 31st. What do you want for the CR England hat, Mark? James Faust. Oh, that is a valuable piece of, hopefully at some point it will be just memorabilia. Another federal mandate is human trafficking awareness. Yes, that is true. Ex-lady driver, you have to take a Truckers Against Trafficking course, basically, a human trafficking course. Our company, we've had to take it for a while now because there are sponsors of it or whatever, like a lot of companies. But if your company's not in on it, you'll have to go take this online class for that exactly. I went to the Cat Law Truck School website, and they still teach drivers how to double clutch. Good. Go there. He drives for MS Carriers. Wow. Remember those trailers? Tom 27. Good morning. Peterbilt. Yeah, you thought it was bought by Swift, but, there could still be trailers out there. I see Schuster delivering to a cold storage facility 2 blocks from your house in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Jimmy. They deliver here to Lafayette to the cold storage. I can't think what it's Lafayette Cold Storage, right? Over here, not far from where I live. I see Schuster trucks in there all the time. Cassius King talked to a GP Transco driver this morning. He was making the best money of his career. Thanks for that. And yeah, it isn't just me. I always say that about these companies, right? You go look at reviews of companies and, they get good reviews overall. So absolutely. And if you've seen their new trucks, right, really nice. Like the color. They've got me with the color. They had me at hello color. You've never been checked yet? Any good companies in Southern California? It's tough to get a place out of Southern California. We'll see what somebody thinks here. Chrome Daddy is here. You can start the show now, and thank you for being also on Instagram. Didn't owner-operators of Canada get a pass on speed limiters after they went to court? I don't think so. Did that? I don't think that changed. Isn't everybody limited up there in Canada? The 55 speed limit in California is ridiculous, especially when the speed limit is 70, more hazardous than safe. I agree. The splits are ridiculous. They're split here in Indiana, too. Not like that, but I totally agree. Werner owner-operator miles are down because they're leaving. They stopped admitting the owner-operator to dedicated routes, forcing them over the road, and it's not consistent exactly. I didn't know that, so they won't let you on dedicated. They're keeping that for their company trucks. Jersey, okay. Well, that would make sense. If that's where the miles are, they're giving it to their company trucks. I've always wondered about, being an owner-operator at a place that also has company drivers. Because really, if it came down to it, who are they going to give more miles to? Their trucks. They're not going to have their trucks sit and let you roll. That's what I think. They always say, no, it's all even or whatever, but I just can't believe it. Kim says Smith is 17 minutes for a pre-trip. There you go. So you were short on your pre-trip, so on the thing. So Sean says Werner is 15 minutes. You'll have to log it. I mean, if that's their policy, that we're going to have to log that many minutes. We'll have to just sit there. King Bob is late. Holy moly. Thank you for being here, though. Rick asks, baking in Laredo, rolling out to Aurora, Colorado. At least you'll cool off. Werner required 15 minutes. JB Hunt and Ozark said, do it, no specifics. That's the better way to do it, right? And then you decide, it doesn't always take 17 minutes. Overspeed on my truck is because our tires are rated for 75, so you can go whatever you want to do. My company's out of Idaho and is a drop yard in Denver, where you live. They let me drop your trailer and bobtail home. That's pretty good of them, right? As long as you have somewhere to put it. I've always said I don't want to take the truck home, but a lot of people do. I just don't want the truck sitting here. I figure when I'm home, they can fix it and do service to it. And also, I just don't want the responsibility of the truck. You come out, it's been graffitied or tagged, because I live in a bad neighborhood. So a pre-trip is logged at 15 minutes, but it takes as long as it takes. There's no DOT rule on how long anything is done, much less a pre-trip. There's no FMCSA regulation. It's just you have to log a pre-trip, it has to take any certain amount of time. That always goes around every once in a while that, people they're told that or whatever. There's actually no official time to log a pre-trip. I only go to Walmart to people watch, going in and out, right. Steel Horse does 10 minutes there. That's better. I mean, that's more reasonable, certainly. But 17 minutes is pretty long, and that's a weird amount of time. I guess so that they are assured that you're actually sitting there 17 minutes. Kim, the past week or two, you severely missed being over the road. You like being alone, going to different places, and seeing different sights. And I hate talking to people. A lot of that. Well, that's the problem that, we have on a lot of our regular runs. We can't get people to do because they do the same thing every day. It took a long time to get somebody on that Minneapolis, Indianapolis run. At CFI, a pre-trip is how long it takes is how long it takes. That's the right way to do it, right? However long you take it. But then if it's 1 minute, I think they're going to be saying something. Todd, the wife brought you a stepper, fits under the bunk. A month later, sleeper better, feeling better. Yeah, exactly. There's steps on the truck too, which I've always recommended to people. Yeah, that's a good idea. Slip it under the bunk, you're all set. Owner-operators are used to make 2 to 3 a week bring home, down to $1,500 a week and makes them mad, but you're making $500 a week and you up to $15, that's pretty good. Oh, all the money is relative in anything. Depends what you were making to what you are making. Oh, totally agree. It costs 54 cents a mile to run your truck, so anything under 2 isn't worth it. Yeah, each person has their own cost, right? If the truck is paid for, it's different. If you ran $1 a mile on the truck, I guess $2 wouldn't be worth it. You should make at least every owner-operator, I think, should make 150% of a good company driver for the risk that you're putting in, for the risk. As an owner-operator, where's a good online place to look to hire drivers? Oh, I don't know where they would post stuff. And that should be as an employee, I'm sure, right? Next lady says, you've seen actual people at Walmart. That's really good. What do you know about Roadmaster training with Werner? I don't know anything about the specific training. So every law, I thought, I'm going to look into that. No way. Every law is different. So I would look on online forums and stuff and see what people say right here. GP Transco, your channel inspired us to begin doing live video for the fleet, where drivers ask any and all questions for our CEO and upper manager. Oh, thank you very much. And that's a really good idea. Drivers can just chime right in and ask their questions. Yeah, I love that idea. Wow, when is that? Is that live for everybody or only your drivers? I mean, is it a private, kind of live thing, or are you doing it live on YouTube? Kane Slayer just got off home time, new truck and different trailer. The trailer needs inspection and reefer service. Let's get that thing in before you get in trouble. Big Huge Mike is here. A lot of people in here. Yes, it's great. I love having everybody come on in. Backwoods Northwest, you see a majority of truckers complaining about driving a truck and how it's hard. I've been doing landscaping since year 12 and 26 years and finally in industry and doing a flatbed. Some trucking is harder than others. Let's be honest about that. There's no question about that. And you work harder than most. Yeah, you're doing a lot of work. I agree with you. Look, I'm throwing those tarps, and this is a long time ago. in Jersey and it's a winter time. And I thought, holy mackerel, there's got to be a better way to do this. So, it just depends. You wouldn't run California except as a company driver anyway, because they're most truck unfriendly state. They don't really like trucks. I tell everybody, always wash your truck before you go to California. It just seems to help out a lot and helps the truck washes too. The thing about e-logs is it does the math for you. You don't have to figure it out. Right. Werner is also giving the miles to net. What's a net op? Somebody that leases the truck from them. Ricky says your GP Transco is a great company besides putting a camera in. They don't have facing cameras that I remember. Maybe they put those in. I haven't asked them for a while. Do we have driver-facing cameras at GP Transco? You don't normally use driver-facing cameras. Oh, okay, here's the answer. Right. We don't normally use driver-facing cameras. Right, that's what I thought. Currently have them in our last resort because of violations. Right, that's how it was. They don't do them unless you're a problem. Exactly. That's how companies should be on it. Because at every company, this is not at any certain place, mega, all small companies, 10% of the drivers are probably 90% of the problem at the company. The ones that get in accidents and stuff, it's not that many of the drivers. So to put them in all trucks like a lot of these companies do doesn't make any sense. Every company knows who their bad drivers are. Go weed those drivers out. King Bob is sitting at a customer in San Antonio. You were supposed to be home yesterday. It might be late to your grandfather's funeral. I'm sorry about that. I mean, the place you are, I'm happy they're getting you home at all for that, to be honest with you. And, I feel really bad for you about it. I wish there was some way to get that solved. I've always thought on stuff like that, companies should just zing you home immediately. Kim, what have you heard about Magnum out of Fargo, North Dakota? I don't know. What's going on with Magnum? Liberty West out of Montebello, California, Los Angeles is a decent company to work for. There's a place in California. Paper logs were rounded to 15 minutes, so that was your pre-trip time. Yes, you could always run a line down. It says 7 minutes, but then, they were said, oh, you should still do it. But that's where people get the 15 minutes from. It's true. But now it's right down to the second on some of them. Have you ever heard about Superior Cares, a tanker company? No, there's one in town, though, so no. CFI gives owner-operators top priority, then lease operators, then teams, then company drivers. I find that APB... I just find it hard to believe that any company would give freight, if they only had a load and they had one of each of these people sitting there, it's going to go to their truck first, it would seem like, because I wouldn't want my truck to sit there when I'm paying for it and give that to an owner-operator who's got their own truck. That's just how it seems like from the other side, the company perspective of it. If they do it that way, they're going to lose company drivers from sitting and keep owner-operators unless that's how they want to go back to owner-operators, mostly owner-operators. It's possible. And look, here's the CFI, here's the CFI cup holder right here. Still doing an excellent job. I appreciate that, CFI. Amanda is back. Thank you. Smith requires 17 minutes on a pre-trip. Extra 2 minutes is time to walk around that hood. I didn't think about that. When you get the long hood, you got to walk all the way out there. Right. That's extra 2 minutes. Al John used to like New Mexico. Not be loading. Misty's going to load in 110 degrees today. Well, that's the downside of what you're doing. But you're making good money. Right, and you get at least some exercise, a lot more than a lot of drivers. So we won't be checking out at 50-something years old like a lot of over-the-road drivers do. The average age is 54 years old for over-the-road drivers that do it their whole lives. So if you're not seeing a doctor or whatever, try to keep yourself, in good condition. Why does this trucker's life? Why do so many drivers think they need to be an owner-operator lease in order to make a living? Well, let me see. I'm company and saved $20,000 8 months. It's not what you earn, it's what you spend. I agree with that. The thing is, people want the freedom because they're being sold a dream by a lot of these large companies. The companies sell, this kind of company sells you this dream that says, okay, you can be an owner operator. You get to do whatever you want. You don't have to worry about anything. You choose your loads. You make all this money, $3,000, $4,000 a week. And it just turns out not to be the truth. You can't just do whatever you want. You're stuck out all the time at a mega carrier when you're a lease operator. It's just a real problem. Auto evidence bot. Wouldn't forcing a driver too long a certain amount of time for a pre-trip constitute forcing them to falsify their logbook? Say they finish earlier, they would be falsifying. Well, no, they wouldn't be falsifying that time. The e-log, right, is going to show you on duty. So you do your pre-trip, and then if you're in the truck, you can just sit there on duty and wait to drive for the rest of the time. So theoretically, that time is still correct. They're basically forcing you to have 17 minutes of on-duty time before you start driving. So, that's a close one, but they're not telling you to drive and change your logbook. They're not asking you to do that. They're actually saying probably do a 17-minute pre-trip. So continue, and I think Cash has got it right. You open in that hood, that takes 5 people on that truck too. So you got to go try to find people to do it. But no, seriously, I think I see what you're saying. But no, they're just saying 17 minutes on duty, and you should take 17 minutes to do it on that truck. Net ops run 150 to 300 miles from a hub. Never heard of that kind of thing. And I just lost that thing there, right. And so I'm gone. It's gone. Oh, there we go. They're home every night, but it takes them away from the over-the-road folks. Oh, okay, so it's a totally different thing altogether. It's a totally different thing. I understand cameras on the side of the truck are part of any truck that faces traffic, but cameras facing the driver is just creepy. Most good places don't have them in all their trucks. Some are putting them outside, by the way. Amanda pulled into Kingman, Arizona, got a wash and then a service and tell them oh, nice, right. Tell them to California proof the truck. Yes. Guess CFI has a good heart. Yeah, they want you to be safe, right? We'll put it that way. And they have good cup holders. They make more money off of owner-operators than they do company trucks. All right, so that's interesting. Maybe Werner doesn't then. If that's true, then I guess Werner, whose miles are down for owner-operators, does not make as much off of their owner-operators because their miles are up for their company drivers. So that's an interesting way to do it. James Faust started getting the rain from me. Yeah, a big storm blew through here. I was hoping to keep the internet here. CFI red Kenworth with the logo on the side instead of the driver, door, company, or owner-operator. We'll see how that works. Ozark gives loads to the owner-operators over hourly, guys. That's weird. So they would sit you and pay you by the hour? Siege Now, what's going on? Thank you for being here. NFI says no freaking intelligence. I don't know. I want to be an owner-operator for freedom and want to be able to drive your dream truck. Yeah, well, okay, your freedom, though, is going to be locked up in the truck. I mean, depending on how much you make and stuff. You may have more freedom, maybe not. A lot of people, though, that get leased especially, are sold a dream. They're not really sold, the owner-operator thing. They're just sold a dream. Sorry, Werner NetOps is a driver that moves loaded trailer from a terminal to another terminal, and they're starting to use over the road drivers to deliver. That sounds like not a bad deal. If that's drop and hook all the time, that would save you a lot of time that you're not paid for. Here we go, right? Large car drive for Superior, and they're professional, been 4.5 years. Each terminal is different, so each one's run individually. See your local manager for details. Cash is king. Western Express has lease operator loads and tarp loads that make you swap trailers with company drivers so they get the miles. Just another reason you believe they are not a great company. Oh, so they make you do it as a lease person and then swap you out. You mean companies actually lie to their employees? I've heard that is true at some places. James, in Fontana, Roadmaster just trains people. They try to get you into Werner, US, and Covenant before you start school. 7 for school, not bad. And you get manual trans training. I found that these companies pay to get in the truck school because I wanted to go talk at the truck school, and they won't let you unless you pay them. So I thought, I'll go talk to new people right there. No. They're like, you got to pay only schools, trucking companies, so it costs. So any place that's in there advertising for you like that, where Werner comes in or whatever, the truck school gets a kickback from them on that. Western Express is a fairly decent mega company. Oh, that's hilarious. Is that the joke of the day today, right there? Holy moly. As a percentage of the fleet, they pay 27 cents on their Western fleet, okay, a mile. As a percentage of the fleet, the long-nosed Pete's are probably only sitting at 15% and no longer make them. We won't be buying any new. I think they bought 100 of them this year. They're the last ones buying them, right? Look, they're nice-looking trucks, no question about it. And I just posted on Instagram over the weekend Jim Pointek trucking, which was a nice long-nosed Pete sitting out at Meyer. I thought that was a really good-looking truck, so can head over and check that out. Moving from a 680 auto to 389, 18-speed. Wow, excited for the change. Going to heavy haul. There you go. That's there is a lot of money in it. The trucker's life is editing and watching. Hopefully not editing my videos. Maybe you should. I work for GP Transco. It's good over-the-road company, not bad money. Just went back to your old job. You're home every weekend and every other day. Make more money and home often. Well, GP does have local runs there. They do have some local, I don't know if there's any openings in the Chicago area. You have a dream not to to not own a Cascadia? I'm waiting for you to buy that new truck. We keep hearing about it. I'm waiting for it. Are they manufacturing it special for you? Leonidas, have you ever heard the story about lease-to-own drivers, many immigrants, working the ports of California or somewhere owing money to the company? That isn't just them, but I have heard that there a lot of these companies where that have a really high lease payment, if you were to take any kind of time off, you owe them money when you go back. Isn't that great? You get a negative check. But I agree with you. The ports there are abusing people in Los Angeles, mainly the ports in California. And the people work a whole week and still owe the company money. It's a total scam. These are all employees by every way that they're being treated there, but they're all leased, and it's just a total mess. I agree. The whole thing should be shut down. We're looking into it. It's all garbage. They're just abusing people out there. I totally agree. Alan, thanks for educating about Chicago firms, even though I made 66 your first year being 1099. Subject to lawsuits made you uneasy, and yes, they all wear 1970s jogging suits. They look good. I don't know why, the western Chicago suburbs are like a bastion of 1099-ness. I don't know why everybody went in there. But if somebody in there has an accent and an orange Adidas suit, that is a problem. Ever heard of South Hawk? They have their own product plants in 9 states. I never heard of them. Al Johns wants a Mac Anthem. At least it would get better mileage. There's always these pockets, like the port truckers, right? I guess they have to be a port, but you don't hear it from other ports as much. And then Chicago, I don't know. There's like hundreds of 1099 companies in Chicago, and they're not spread out. I don't know why Chicago. Maybe because there's so many companies, they can't. They're not going to get in trouble there or whatever. I don't know. Very true. The over-the-road guys are not getting the miles they need to leave. Werner does own Roadmaster. Oh, that's why they got him in there then, right? Smith Transport bought run along those Peterbilts. Yes. Paid. They have 389s there now, right? Some of them paid out of pocket $3,800. That's not bad. Company school's too expensive. Well, even at 7, right? It's still a good deal. Look, college is what, $60,000 or whatever, and what are you going to do? Make $30,000? ABP CFI pays $1 for a mile to owner operators. Wonderful. They choose their loads. 3 friends tried but left. Yeah, $1.04. I think our owner operators on here can verify. If they made $1.04 a mile, they wouldn't be an owner operator very long. That's not really great money. No matter how many cup holders you get, $1.04 is just not going to cut it unless you open a cup holder store on eBay or something like that. Caleb is broke down at Kenworth. Yikes. How do CFI owner operators choose their loads? That's a good question. How do they choose their loads there? This trucker's life will not lease. You're not going to pay to work at a lot of leases, and some people do make money on leases. Let's be honest about that. But most leases, you just bought yourself a job. You don't have any insurance. You don't have any benefits. I mean, all you did is buy yourself a job, and you didn't make enough money to buy the benefits, vacation, all that. You do just as good, certainly at a good company, as a company driver, certainly. Kentucky trucker, when you had your Kenworth, it gave you nothing but trouble, and now you got an LT. I never liked the Internationals. Now, I haven't been in this LT. I didn't think the dashboards were set up in them right. I don't like the way the buttons are in them. I mean, it may seem like a little thing, but when you're driving it every day, I just didn't like the way it worked out. When I'm thinking about opening up a tracksuit only clothing store, Chicago or Gary area. These people don't seem to need anymore. I just don't know why. Like the Chicago area is a bastion of 1099 and leasing too. There's a lot of these places that lease and a lot of 1099 companies right there where, you can run containers as a lease driver. It doesn't make any sense. Peterbilt could not afford a new truck. Well, $150, they're not bad. Large Car Kent, thanks for what you do. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you coming in today. King Bob, your main air supply hose for your trailer broke where you're driving. Wow, and your brakes locked up. Yikes. Lucky you had a hose brass connection so you could get off the road safely. Yeah. How does that happen? I mean, the trucks there are not old or anything. So I guess just a defective hose. I'm glad now that's something you could fix on the side of the road. But, because you need to. I'm glad you had that and were able to do it. Auto evidence. That's why they don't want the wall. It could cut off their supply of labor. These ports in L.A. and that, what they're doing to people is terrible. They sell a dream too. And at the end, you work 70 or more hours a week, a lot of them more, and then they end up owing the company $300 at the end of the week. It doesn't make any sense. But the people don't know, because a lot of people go into that thinking they're going to make money, and the companies are the ones that were only one profiting. Cash is king. They are offered loads and choose which ones they want. Oh, so that's not as good as a load board, but not bad, right? Corey, hello from San Antonio. I'll never forget the place. Shaw, I got my CDL for $3,500. That's pretty good in 2018. Mine was $1,595 in 1988. So the price hasn't gone up that much. That's not bad. Kim, I've been thinking about switching back to over the road with Smith, but you're going to wait 2 months and see how the ticket thing shakes out. Oh, right. And trying to stack some cash in the savings account. Yeah, I'm curious about that. Have you heard any more about that? Mr. Skeptical, Danny's truck still parked, nothing happening. Hey, as I mentioned earlier, if you were on here, you were the first one in on Tuesday, and I did see that, so thank you very much for that. That is really something. Yeah, there's nowhere for you to go with the Denny's truck right now, right? So make yourself a pancake and have at it. This trucker's life was at Melton for a year, but quit Friday. Had a great experience, profited at 50 cents a mile. Not bad. 50 cents, so was that to start? Right. Did you have experience? Misty, Chicago companies use owner-operators to get around the Teamsters. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, and then they 1099 their way around Teamsters also, because you wouldn't be able to unionize if you are independent. Oh, that's very good. I didn't think about the Teamsters up there, and I worked up there for a while. Kentucky trucker or your company driver, you don't know what truck you have, as long as I don't have a truck that spent more time in the shop than on the road. Can't make money if you're not rolling. It depends. You should be paid for your breakdown, certainly, but I agree with you. And I agree too, right? I just want a truck, air conditioning work, decent truck. It doesn't matter necessarily, that it's a long nose or anything like that. Illinois is a closed shop state, right? If it's unionized, you have to join the union. But why wouldn't you join the union at a union company? James Faust, remember when a decked out Pete was about $60,000 brand new? That was some time ago, and everybody didn't mind it because fuel was 70 cents a gallon or whatever. I can remember buying it for under $1 at the pump, under $1 for diesel. So it hasn't been that long that the price has been higher than that. CFI is forced dispatch, but owner operator can refuse loads. Right. Most companies, CFI included, company drivers are forced dispatch, certainly. Some of them will let you go on it, but the policy is forced. And, of course, an owner-operator and lease would be able to refuse, because if you're independent, you don't have to work. So any company, if you're leasing and they don't let you refuse loads, you're not independent. You're an employee. Why won't you ever forget about San Antonio? I can't forget about it. The Alamo. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for being here. I appreciate you coming in. It's good to see you, Bubba. My CDO was free 41 years ago. How did you get it free? Not at truck school, right? Problem with a lot of these newer drivers there see trucking as a job, but not as a way of life. I will tell you, I see it as a job too. I mean, for me, it is a job. People say it's a lifestyle. I don't know. Is there any other job that is a lifestyle? It's a job, right? You go to work, they pay me, and I go back home, and then when I'm at work, they pay me. That's kind of like a job. I really like to have my own truck again, but I have health insurance. You have to have health insurance for your wife. You can buy it yourself. I think Cash is King, if he's still on here, has mentioned that he's bought insurance or buys it himself and can give you an idea of price. I looked into see how much health insurance would be on the open market just as a curiosity for me and the wife, and in my extreme upper 30s. Okay, 2 people on there, it's $1,856 a month for a good policy. So that's around $450 a week. This trucker's life, 1 year experience from Watkins Shepherd. So in a year, you got 50 cents. Not bad. What's up with Dynamic? Glad I'm back over the road. Yeah, what is up with Dynamic? What is the question about Dynamic? I remember them from the background. So where did I lost my spot? Right, 1 year experience. Local driving in Chicago last few years. Companies paying less, back over the road. First week doing well, good. Youngster helping grad dad with the electronic stuff. You'll get it. And that's the other thing. Always keep up with technology, everybody. As the trucks get more advanced and stuff, there's more and more technology. So don't ever get behind on technology. 41 years for Bubba. Much respect. Yes, he is going to be the high driving person here today, I believe. Looks like someone took a knife, and we can spot when I went inside the truck stop to use the bathroom. Hey, you never know what goes on in there, but, snitches get stitches. So that's all we say about the truck stop. Michael, thanks for the channel. Greetings. I appreciate you saying that. Thanks for being here. Gustavo, what about a W-9? Look, you should, if you work for a company and you drive their truck, they buy the fuel and stuff, you're an employee. Okay, so simple as that. You're a W-2 employee, as they call that. So if you are a lease operator, but they force dispatch you, you're an employee. They don't get to force dispatch you. You have to be independent. You have to be able to choose when and where you work. So, and a lease operator, you have to be able to drive anywhere you want. So I'm leasing the truck. I go, I'm going home. You have to be able to do that. If they say, no, you're not going home, you're not leasing the truck. You're an employee. Like I couldn't drive, say I'm driving to Chicago in the truck. They'd be like, no, Mark, you're not. It's our truck. So, but if I own the truck, I can do it. That's how you can tell if you're an employee or not. Peterbilt 379, thanks. I appreciate it. Always staying hip and up to date here as usual. Chris, the military is a lifestyle. Right. Exactly. Right. Roger Penske says it's roller wiener time. When is it not roller wiener time? You know, and I always get a lot of grief about that. People say, oh, Mark, what are you talking about? It's a lifestyle. I don't know. I mean, I go to work. And I do my job, and then I leave. So I don't know if that's a lifestyle or not. You know, it doesn't matter. I've always thought that. You know, I'm here to work, and they're going to pay me, and I'll do a good job, and they'll pay me good, and that's it. I mean, it's not like off duty. You know, I'm a trucker, living the trucker life or whatever. You know, I don't know about that because a lifestyle would be all the time, right? So do you live that 24 hours a day, like big stacks in your kitchen or whatever? I don't know about that, you know. David, hello from the UK. Hey, what's going on over there? And as I always ask people overseas, we have to know, what is a gallon of diesel going for over there? That's always a curious question. It's around low threes here today, I believe. I'll be fueling later. I'll find that out. James Faust, you were grandfathered in for your CDL. Okay, I agree. I got grandfathered in the CDL when that came in. My initial license, which was been a Class D Illinois license, was $1,595. Let's put it that way. If one is a company driving you break down, is it the company's responsibility to put you in a hotel? I would say it is. I will say this, that if you're broke down and you're not in a hotel, you're on duty. I mean, would they put you in a hotel? They should. A good company will put you in a hotel. I would get a hotel here. There's many people on here right now that are working for a company that absolutely would buy them a hotel, no problem about it. You know, it's not just my place. So if a company would not put you in a hotel, let me ask you, what would they expect you to do? Sit at the dealer, say it's a 24-hour dealer. Do you have to sit at the Kenworth dealer all night? I mean, that is enough to get out of there. Being a male stripper is a lifestyle. Roger Penske would know that, right? From your side hustle, as they say. Obamacare stinks. Your wife's hospital won't accept it. Trucker Todd, I'm talking about just the general open market for insurance, where you just go on and buy insurance from a health insurance company, was 1856, not on the Obamacare market, just the general market. James Faust, 45 years. All right. You got it then. That is excellent. And that's very good. That's a lifetime of driving. La Cosa Nostra is a lifestyle. Yeah, that's one you can't get out of. I'm not a fan of some of the technology, really. In your opinion, it's good and bad. Some parts of it and some you don't like. Some is not going to be great, which they'll have to improve. But what I'm saying to people, as the technology gets more and more, you can't go into a company and say, I don't know how to do technology, or I don't believe in, I don't believe in phones, and, you can't go in there wearing an aluminum hat. Okay, you just can't do that because the technology is in the trucks. And so they want people that they know are going to be able to use the technology. The aluminum foil hat is just not going to get you anywhere right now. You tell them that's just for the Area 51 time, so they don't send all the waves to our brains. Corey, I love the content of the channel. I thank you very much. Wish you could help sponsor. Keep up the great job you're doing. Hey, content all here free. I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Insurance is a way to steal money. What happens to all the money people pay out and never use it? The insurance companies keep it and walk away. All insurance is a scam. It depends. It depends. My dad, who is passed now, he had an open heart surgery during his lifetime. And that was, early 90s, probably mid 90s. And that bill then, because I remember the bill looking at that with him, was $200 and some $1,000 that the insurance paid. He only had to pay like a couple of $1,000 of that. And for it was like a quadruple bypass. And that was cheap then. I'm sure it's more now. Just that one bill that they paid probably, I'm sure, is more than he paid for insurance his entire life. Probably, I would say his entire life. Why is that? Too many people believe that being an employee is such a bad thing. I don't know, but truck drivers always independent. Oh, we're independent. I get that, right? That's why we drive. We could be alone, and it's even better if you can own the truck too, right? So being an employee, people are, oh, you're just an employee. Yeah, I get benefits and stuff. It's different for everybody. Oh, insurance, another good thing, the car, right? We got that car, and then someone in the house, not me, had a wreck in it, and right, and so the insurance paid for that car, only that car 10 months. Okay, so that one insurance payment on that car would probably pay almost my whole car insurance for my life too. So that kind of insurance could save you if you have some big thing, maybe. After going to a truck stop, got full due pre-trip before taking up. People tampering with others' equipment. That's horrible. I've seen videos of people where they pull your fifth wheel. Always do the check, which I don't know why, but it was always called a Schneider check. Always before you leave anywhere, right? Hold the trailer brakes down and do a yank test, right? And this is a legit yank test, not like the other kind of yank test. I saw you got a lot of kickback from TMC videos. Oh, yeah, I knew, right? There'd always be fan people from TMC. That kind of place, which is a lifestyle at TMC, always is pounding in people's heads how great it is there, how great it is. Absolutely right. Once you say a lie enough times to people, it becomes the truth. It's a lifestyle if you choose to make it, so it is. But a lifestyle, it has to be all the time. A lifestyle is something that is your life all the time, right? Like a trucking life, so off duty, you still have the fingerless gloves even off duty. Backwoods Northeast. Thanks for everything I do, and thanks for reading the comment. Take care and be safe. Well, thank you for commenting, and I appreciate you being here, and everybody who's here every Monday. I appreciate it. Auto evidence. Also, a lot of the guys running Chicago outfits are Russians and Eastern Europeans who have lived through communism, so they're adverse to collectivism. I can understand that, and people are welcome to come here, right? My friend, his parents, he's probably listening, right? His parents, right, came here from Romania, okay, before it was free over there. So I'm all for that, for people coming here and making a better life for themselves. No problem. But then you can't come here and exploit people as a 1099 or whatever, because that's not legal. People are your employees, and so they should be employees. That's all. That's happy if people want to come here and, in their Adidas suits or whatever, hey, so be it. But you can't then exploit people who are employees. That's the real problem. And for some reason, and that's a good thing about the union. That's a very good reason probably that it's up there in Chicago. It's a lot of them around Chicago. But here's the other thing. If they don't have, why didn't they just settle somewhere that's an open state rather than settling where there's a lot of union stuff? That's the other thing, right? Hello, in Temple, Texas, home time where it's 98 outside. Yikes. Can you get a Blue Parrot break? There's always time for a Blue Parrot break. Be sure to get yours today. There's, of course, a link in the description for to get your own Blue Parrot. Always run legal with a Blue Parrot. And thanks for that, right? Blue Parrot. Well, I mean, if you're an over-the-road driver, you spend more time in the truck than you spend at home. You do. But that doesn't mean it's your lifestyle, right? If the company doesn't take care of you, leave. I agree, right? If you got any kind of experience, you can just hit the road. That's why these companies that are horrible to people, I'll get an email. I've been here 9 years and I've missed 47 paychecks and they don't pay me. I mean, get out of there, Smith makes you live in a hotel every day where you drive day cabs. You don't understand about the hotels that it's a tax write-off at the end of the year. Yeah, you probably could. I mean, it's probably some kind of tax scam thing. I'm not a tax professional. David says it's only $1 a pound, 28 a gallon. Really? Oh, it's diesel. Oh, because it's subsidized over there. So that's super great. I don't know the exact translation of that, but that's cheap. Let's ask about a gas price then. I think I'll be more surprised about that. Brooks Ann, sorry you missed last week's show. How was it? It was awesome in my personal opinion, but we had a lot of giveaways and, so GP Transco was on the show, and I tell everybody, head over to GP Transco, of course. CTS Business Coaching on the show also last week, and GP Transco and everybody giving a lot of stuff out, and I thank them very much for that. So I'm sorry you weren't there, but there'll be another giveaway coming up very soon, so don't worry about that. Cash is King. I think Crete does the same thing. They offer you 3 loads, and you pick which one you want. So it's the 3 loads they decide you get. Why can't you pick from all the loads that are in your area? I think the UK sells by the liter. Maybe gas is or diesel's by the gallon. We'll see. I thought liter too, but he said gallon. So we'll say, and that's a UK gallon. So good enough. Insurance is a scam till you need it. Then you're scammed. Well, right. When you need it, you'll be glad that you had it. I mean, the car, if we'd not had car insurance, I'd have been paying basically for a new car. So, but everything got paid with Gap. I always get Gap insurance. Everything, bingo. 2 checks written, car done for easy. And my dad, right, just that is enough for me to want health insurance all the time. 1 trip to the hospital probably pays for health insurance for your entire life. If you're over the road, trucking is a lifestyle. If you're home at the end of the day, it's a job. I don't know, even over the road, for me, it just never became a lifestyle. It was just, I drive a truck, and that's what I do. So the only 2 newer trucks we're buying are the 389, right, for 6 miles a gallon, and the W900 for 6 miles a gallon. And it's a W990 now, right? But just seems like a lot of these newer trucks get uglier. Yeah, the thing is, it's not a beauty contest when you own it. Now, if somebody else is buying it for me, I'm in for that, right? Then I'll take a Volvo Globetrotter, whatever it's called. Werner and Roadmaster are 7 cash or 14 with interest. Wow, how do they manage that? 14 with interest? Werner reimbursed $250 a month. By paying you $250, then tax to take $250 out. Gross. I wish you found before I went to school. Look, Caleb, still, even if you're paying 14, which is one of the highest I've seen, it's still worth it. I thank you for saying that, but 14, it's still trucking school. It's still worth it. You're still got a good deal because you can have a job for the rest of your life. You don't have to worry about, I'm not going to work or whatever. So that's still a fourth of college, and you'll still make way more. Still worth it. I go in this customer and ask if I can have some of his bacon. I'm delivering. Yes. How many people have, in reefer especially, where there's stuff you get to take with you? Oh, £1.28 a liter. Okay, that sounds a little more like it, right? 3.78 liters per gallon for everybody out there. I get insurance can help, but they should give some of it back if not used. Well, but the thing is, if you use it, you wouldn't get any of it back, I guess, right? So, like me, my dad, perfect example, he wouldn't get anything back. But then how do they make money? They have to be able to pay his from everybody else's insurance too. And it's all collectively in there. Like if you didn't use it and they gave all your money back and then he uses it and they have to pay more than he pays in, they wouldn't be in business anymore. Christopher's with the Teamsters and health insurance is $37.60 for a week. It's really good. That's more than I thought it was. Never had to pay a lot of out of pocket for anything. The only person I know in the union is a steel worker, and he pays 2 hours of straight time a month that includes his health insurance, which is pretty good. He works in a factory, not doing steel working. Cash is king, $1.28 a pound per liter is $5.92 per gallon. Okay, thank you for translating that. That seems a little high here. Well, who would be buying the Pete's then, right? Charles says, stop pulling up the shoulder of the interstate just because it's convenient. Causes other people to react. Oh my gosh, there's tons of that. The 30-minute break. That's mainly what I think is driving that. You cannot pull over. I wish there were cops to write all these people tickets. So if you're not having a truck problem, do not park on the shoulder. You got to at least go up a ramp somewhere and get off of the interstate. Your school cost $15,000 and went for 15 weeks. That's probably still worth it. That's super high. That's still worth it though. Still worth it. Stop letting the cat drive. Where's the cat photos? Oh, they're right here, right? I don't know what you're saying, right? Cat photos. Of course there's cat photos. Holy moly. It's cat break time, which she's on her new tree, which I don't know how many drivers care, but I'm putting it up there anyways. 6 feet tall. So that was pretty good. I put that thing together. She's enjoying that. Remember, it's not a lie if you believe it. That's correct. If you tell people it enough, they will believe it. Has anyone been hitting birds? The 5G man needs a tinfoil hat. Mine lost. No, I haven't hit any birds, fortunately. Those Adidas suits are comfortable. They look comfy. I take off 3 to 4 weeks a year. Other than that, you live in the truck. Is that your choice? If that's your choice, that's fine, right? Christopher says 15 is too much for school. It's a high price for school, but we're not looking at it as the price for school. What is the value that you're getting out of it? You get a career for $15,000. That's good value. You can work the rest of your life, 30, 40 years, 50 years. You're going to get to be put in and make way more money than you would without that school. That's why I think 15 is worth it. Can't look at things at what they cost. We look at things at what is their value versus what you pay for them. If you make an extra $10,000 a year for 40 years, that's $400,000 that you're going to make out of $15,000. Just at $10,000 a year over what else you were doing, and it'll probably be more than that. And you have a job basically guaranteed for your whole life. Cash is King, you still haven't made it home to pick up the blue parrot? Yeah, I saw it was delivered. What are we doing over there? It's still sitting outside your front door. When in Rome, do as the Romanians do. I'll tell them that. That'll be good. At least get to an off-ramp. Exactly. Don't be parking on the shoulder. Oh, my gosh. I've seen tons of these people. It doesn't make any sense to me. Do people not understand what safety is? Oh, my gosh. Can I review Cypress Trucking? Dennis, let's see if anybody here knows anything about Cypress. That's a good thing about the live show. Rich, my CDL school, Wiregrass Technical College, paid you to go 10 weeks and very classes. That is the best way to do it. See if your state will pay for it. Your state may pay for truck school. Call the Department of Unemployment or whatever it's called and see, do you have training? Do you pay for training? Some of them do, and you can go to truck school for free. So that $15,000 turns into $0. James Faust says the good side of driving 45 years was the money, the travel, and the fun. The downside was 2 wives and a ton of health problems. Yeah, it doesn't help our health, certainly, and usually it doesn't help your wives either. You end up having more than one of them. That is the downside of it. Glenn said your school cost $5,500 last year, all endorsements and a manual. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. George Costanza said it's called a risk pool. Right. I was into all the, I didn't know all the technical terminology. Well, I got to go. Okay, thanks for being here, Peterbilt. We'll see you soon. George Costanza, the communist. Yikes. David, health service free in the UK, best service in the world. Yeah, as you know, here we end up paying a little for it, which is great. James Faust would do it all over again. What else could we do, really? What else is going to be a better job? You're going to have a job. You saw stuff you'd never get to see at any other job. See the entire country, maybe other countries. It's a great job. Earth Sun Trucker, love it. Got a 200-mile deadhead from Bettendorf, Iowa to Portage, Indiana. Nice. My sister-in-law lives up there. To go 711 miles to Newton, North Carolina. Keeping the wheels rolling. That's good. Look, I'll take that long deadhead. As long as they're paying for it, I'm in. My longest deadhead, not that anybody asked, was the L.A. area, like City of Industry. And it seems like it was Oklahoma City they sent me to because I had to call them. I'm like, is this a misprint? Because it was days and days. And they're like, no, we don't have any load, so we're sending a bunch of trucks. We're sending like 10 of you to Oklahoma City where we have tons of loads and no trucks. And it's just like Friday morning. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll be ready Monday morning for a load or whatever. So that was my longest deadhead. Anybody deadhead that's kind of miles? Every once in a while you get those long deadheads. Beto, a Teamster in Chicago, your insurance is free for you and the family. It's just part of your dues, right? Your Teamster dues. Which are what? Is it 2 hours of straight time a month? Cassius King, if diesel was $5.92, you'd have TMC and Prime trucks passing you. I bet we'd see you going 35 miles an hour. Cassius King, you didn't know cats grew on trees. They do. You plant it and bingo, there's a cat that pops out of it. I try to plan my day so I don't have to do my 30 on the shoulder. Please do not do your 30 minutes on the shoulder. All I've heard today is about owner-operator freedoms. The real truth is you're free to make choices. You bounced 700 miles to home this weekend. Well, I mean, if you own the truck, it's always your choice. Everything in life is your choice, right? That's Motivation Monday. Whatever you do, it's always your choice to do it. Gregory hit a turkey vulture, still laughing about it. Yikes. We wouldn't want to hit that thing. Holy moly. I see those all the time, of course, because they're everywhere here, but I've never hit one. If I go back to doing over the road, you're going to want a nice truck because you're going to live in it forever. Because you go back there over the road, you're going to demand a Peterbilt. Will they give you one if you demand a Peterbilt over there? Magnum runs all Peterbilts with top-of-the-line interior, including navigation and Android Auto. Nice. That's funny. So this place puts Android Auto and stuff in their trucks, and then some companies, they put a camera in there, don't let you use your phone or do anything, but sit there and stare out the window. How many people stayed awake at night talking on their phone to other people after we got cell phones? That's a super safety feature. And for companies to ban that and say you can't talk on the phone, which people are writing me about this. They're having you, which I did a video, right? Put an app on your phone where you can't use your phone. That's crazy. It's a huge safety feature. Holy crap. The state sent me to truck school and gave me $50 a week. Oh, that's even better. I didn't know that. All right. I'm going to have to start saying that. Some states may pay you to go to truck school. Where do you draw the line and say that's too much for trucking school? Well, it's value. It isn't price. Nothing in the world is price. You should never look at anything at what it costs. What, Mark? What are you, crazy? No. Everything has a value. What is the value to you of that? So what if truck school was $20,000? But currently you're making, $11 an hour at Target and you have no education other than a high school diploma. What are your chances the rest of your life? What are you going to do with yourself? How much are you going to make? Are you going to be the CEO of Target someday? Maybe. What are you going to do for the next 40 years? All right. So if you get regular raises or whatever, you might end up making $600 or $700 a week. You can double or triple that in just a few weeks of truck school. So the value of it would have to cost a lot before it isn't worth it because of its value, not because of what it costs. Cash is king. The only thing more expensive than education is ignorance. Oh, that is very good. The thing you should invest in the most is yourself. Always invest that money in education for yourself, better yourself. That is very good. That would be a great bumper sticker. As you get a chance, you should do a segment on Magnum. Yeah, I never looked into Magnum. I didn't know they had all these nice trucks going on up there. Caleb says people parking on the shoulder need to remember to get up to half a decent speed. Oh, yeah. That's the other thing of the shoulder. Why are we just coming over? Oh, well, let's just get started and come right over. It's just unbelievable stuff that people do. Anthony, but you get the same CDL for $15,000 to $7,000 for a lifetime, so $15,000 was too much. It depends. 15 isn't too much. It's more than other places charge. It's still worth the $15,000. You're comparing it to a price rather than what is the value of the license that you're getting. If you can get the same thing less, that's one thing. But is the price worth it at $15,000? Yes, it's still worth it because of the value you get out of it. I get out and ride your mountain bike to keep you fit and alert. Trust me, it helps. Yeah, where do you put the bike? Do you have it hanging outside or where is it? Where is it? David, hey, thanks for being here from overseas. We appreciate it. Dennis Taylor, where do you keep your bike? Oh, very good. Right. Some things you see in trucking you can't unsee. Yes, I stopped looking in cars a while ago. You do stuff you don't want to know what's going on. You deadheaded from Jacksonville, Florida and Nashville, Tennessee. That's pretty good too. I can see that out of Florida. I went from Washington State to Arizona. I can't remember the miles. Wow. So you're like, I'll be ready next Tuesday. Right. Kim says they once had you deadhead from north of LA all the way up to Seattle. Wow. So several day drive again. So some companies are not afraid to deadhead you then. I've deadheaded from San Francisco to Memphis. Holy crap. That's a whole week's drive. I do not like day cabs, not enough room and a rough ride. If you're not in it overnight, it doesn't need to have a super lot of room, certainly. I deadheaded from L.A. to Indiana, but just hotshot campers. Always deadhead. Man. Do they pay for that on that? If you're hotshotting those campers, is that unpaid miles? You're taking your 30 at a Blue Beacon tonight. That's nice. Get kind of double team it. Anyone know anything about this other place? Whale Tech in Minnesota. Recap is a trainer for Magnums. You could check out his channel. It's called Recap. That's interesting. Dues in our contract is $1,275 a week. Oh, that's even better than he pays then. So that includes insurance and everything. That's the benefit of a union. If people would stick together, they could get that at a lot of places. I ran into a Magnum truck. They look nice. Pull their broker loads sometimes. Oh, do they pay nice too on the broker loads? My dad, who is an old trucker, tells you not a truck driver because you drive an automatic and an electronic log. Okay, well, I don't know what to say. I mean, that kind of thinking doesn't really go good in the industry, right? That's like saying somebody from, XPO runs a pup around all day is not a driver or something like that. They're just a driver just like everybody else. No one moved over on I-5 when I was in California, even if they were able to move over. That's the other side. Some people don't move over. And so then they're not paying attention. They're going to hit you. Just pulling over on the shoulder, it should be banned, which it is banned. And don't do it. Oh, my gosh. Take a ramp, at least the next ramp. I pull off the front wheel, which is easy to keep in the truck. Oh, all right. So I've seen some hanging on the back of sleepers, so I wondered. So you have an easy release wheel. Got it. As far as the Magnum goes, you look on their Facebook page, they have a video tour of the trucks. So does Jim Palmer, by the way. They only have a single recruiter for over the road. That's good. I saw a driver with a bike strapped to his deer guard. Oh, like a bus? Like the city bus? I bike a lot too, but have a fold-up bike and keep it on the passenger seat. Oh, not a TMC, right? You're not allowed to use your passenger seat for storage. Dennis, you get used to getting in and out. For me, it's no issue. Okay. Anthony, this is the first time on a live feed. You're enjoying the trucker info. Is this every Monday? And if so, what are the times? Well, it is every Monday. I'm here Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern time, every Monday for about 2.5 hours, rain or shine. So I'm here every week, and a large group of people come in and help everybody out. It's wonderful. That is unpaid miles, but it's just a pickup so you could make a living. Right. I just wondered, since I figured that was owner-operator and that kind of thing, so... And I know they do that out of northern Indiana. I didn't realize you had to come all the way back empty. Well, let me ask you, if you want to say, what does it pay to go out there then? I mean, does it make it worthwhile? I have an auto and electronic log, and I'm definitely not a truck driver. Sure you are, Cash is King. You're just a driver like everybody else. Super 10s are great for deadheading. Oh, because you don't have to be anywhere at any certain period of time. So that's the good thing about a Super 10. If you're don't need to be anywhere, that's great, because gear changes are approximately 4 minutes in between each gear change. So, Godfrey, I've been driving 28 years, so 15 for school worked out. I think 15 is still a good value because of what you're getting. People think that's a lot. You're looking at it, it's a lot of money. Never look at money like it's a lot of money. What is the value you're going to get by spending the money on yourself? That's how you change your whole mindset about money. If I spend this on myself, what will I get out of it in the back end of it? So 28 years of driving, you probably made way more money than you would have made had you never become a driver. And that's where the value is on that kind of thing. Dennis says you have a Giant 840, which is a bike, older, but $1,500. Wow. I've had cars that were less than $1,500. Daniel, are used truck prices dropping yet? No. As a matter of fact, used truck prices are up, according to this article I read. The current average used truck price is $48,800, and they're up 6% from 2018, even though there's no loads, as everybody tells me. But that means that they're selling, and part of it is that the new trucks are so expensive. But this $48,800 is not somebody buying a pre-emission truck. Okay, this is a reasonably new truck. They're just buying a new used truck to them. It's not some old 93, whatever. Marmon. Hi from the Indy Airport, Texas. What's going on? I'll be dropping the wife off at the Indianapolis Airport in a few weeks for her annual trip to Seattle. So thanks to Delta Airlines for not giving me any discounts. So she flies out there every year, and I'll be dropping her off down there at that time. First time on an ELD after 29 years on paper. Learning curve, don't move the truck. 5 feet with 2 minutes left on an 8-hour break. Yes. Moving the truck is driving, as many people write to me and complain about. But driving is driving. So you learned, right, a lesson on that because nobody would log that, right? It's not like a big secret. But now once you move the truck, it's driving. And at some companies, you don't get any kind of leeway at all. And I personally think that's how it should be. I would personally have it when you press the brake in, you're driving. That goes to driving. You're obviously going to drive the truck. So, but most of them don't let you move. Some of them give you 2 miles an hour or something like that. You can creep around a little bit. But yeah, that's driving. So you had to take another break. That's a tough one to learn. All the technology, though, you'll get used to it, and you'll work it just like we worked the old log. You just go in and buy another ELD at the Loves with your points. And now you got 2 ELDs to run. You hated being in Texas when you're over the road. Only good thing was once I got out of Texas, you were halfway to anywhere you needed to be. Yeah, you've already done 1,000 miles, right, crossing Texas. Steven says avoid Indianapolis. I-70 is closed until next Monday. Yes, downtown I-70 Indy closed all week this week. They're doing road repairs. And like I always tell everybody, Indiana, we've started closing roads here now. Why? Because people run over the construction workers. That's what they had a few problems with that. Problems like you're dead when you're the construction worker. So now they just close the roads because people will not slow down and they don't pay attention. And it's trucks and cars. So now the roads like 70 is closed. Gustavo, should I request a newer, bigger truck? You currently have a Freightliner Coffin. If they'll do it and you want one, I guess. Will they give you a truck if you request it? That's something. Large car, do you have to log your work time on YouTube? No. And somebody asked me that long ago when I first started doing this, and so I checked into it, and no. You only have to log work time as an employee. I actually looked into it with the FMCSA. So if you worked somewhere as an employee, You would have to log it. Like, say I worked for somebody and was doing their YouTube thing. Yes, if they were paying me. But your own, no. It'd be like, say you own a restaurant. Would you have to log all the time the restaurant is open as on duty time? No, you wouldn't have to do that. So, no, you don't have to do that. Otherwise, people that have stock at a company would have to log the time the stock is open. So I actually did look into that, thinking, I might have to log this. You don't. Well, looking at the $1.40 per mile, it doesn't look like it, but the end of the week, you still clear $1,200 to $1,500 after a maintenance budget. The overhead is low, so and free insurance. So, okay, so you're still doing okay, right? After maintenance and everything, not bad. 421, what is the topic? I have a few things like this Werner. Werner is profits are up, even though there's no freight. Revenue's up, even though there's no freight. And why? They put more trucks on the road. How does that work? How can they put more trucks on the road if they can't get drivers? DA, 6-foot cat tower, $400. No, I got that thing on sale at Wayfair for $59. So there. And they delivered it free because they've got just what you need. Cash is clean. Avoid a Delta flight on 737. Yes, the Boeing MAX Force. Yeah, they're not. Delta didn't buy any of those planes. I actually looked at that when that came out. So they didn't buy any of those planes. So she won't be on a MAX. Johnny, do you have a top 5 recommended company list for new drivers? On the website, I have companies doing it better, and there's a number of companies in there that you could check out. Is S&S Transport a good company? Well, we will see what people say about that. Charles, currently working at a rehab center in Davenport. My work partner is starting to drive you to drink. That's not great. Think I'm ready to get back on the road. Come on out here. Look at it. They just said, and I was reading this on CDL Live for one of those. I didn't write it down. Load volumes are up since Memorial Day, and they'll surpass 2018 load volumes if this continues. Okay, load volumes are up, profits up. I don't know what to say. And then the ATA says, there's a driver shortage. Well, loads are up. All this is up. Everything is looking good. The numbers all look good. The doom and gloom, don't worry about it. You're going to always have a job driving as long as you keep your record clean. Did I see where the guy killed a construction worker while watching porn while driving? I did hear something about that. I don't remember. What is the story on that? Todd, you spin your coffee on, go into Love's and buy the second ELD. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Look, that's how you do it now, right? 99 cents by the second ELD, and bingo, you got 70 hours again. You just have to make sure which ELD. Oh, you got all these tablets. And when the officer comes up, I don't know which tablet to give him. Rich shutting down at 2:30 in the afternoon, waiting for the big girl to get off at Love's. I'm not sure what that means. I'm afraid to know. Werner also provides logistics services other than trucks. You mean office staff? Yeah, they do. Right, they do a lot of your work for you. When you lease to a company, they do a lot of your back office stuff for you that you would otherwise have to pay somebody to do or whatever. And that's part of your deal, right? 421, Werner pays 32 cents. Wow. That's one way they profit as a company, by paying drivers a low wage. I agree, but their profits are up. Okay, so profits are up. So they've been profiting, but they made more profit, and more. They actually also made more revenue. So the revenue is also up there, and that's not based on company pay, that they got more revenue for. So they're hauling more freight, they have more revenue, and they say they're putting more trucks on the road. They have 5.2% more drivers than they had to fill these trucks. So how could they do that, and if there's no drivers, like the ATA says, there's a shortage, how would they fill all these trucks up? Well, they fill them all with new drivers, of course, because they're a mega carrier, and that's what Gracie thinks about mega carriers. That's what she says about a mega carrier like that. And 32 cents, I didn't even know that they paid down in the 30s like that. Earl, I'm working for JB Hunt, and you're doing quite fine as an owner-operator. What are they doing at JB Hunt? And here's the thing. Owner-operator pay is, all this is up, right? And even the used truck prices are up. So companies that sell their trucks, like JB Hunt probably, and a lot of these companies, most of them probably sell them, they should be profiting from that as well, because their used trucks are worth more money when they go to sell them. So they make more back-end money on it too. Cash is king. You're thinking of developing an app that looks like a clean ELD. So when the officer asks to see your log, you just show them your app and it will generate a believable log for the last 7 days. I think do you see that is a brilliant idea? I mean, of course you shouldn't do it, but I bet somebody has done that where you can show them there's a fake ELD page. I'm going to give an honest opinion out here. The mega carriers, Werner's, not bad. Okay, but 32 cents, I mean, would not be great money. If it's really 32 cents, I mean, that's kind of really low. So you could run a second ELD on your phone and sign into it when you needed to. So you really could run 2 ELDs after thinking about it, right? It would just cost you, what, $20 a month or whatever the monthly fee is. Sierra England and Swift are worse than Werner, in your opinion? You know, Swift doesn't have a contract, which I kind of really like. I have a load board to choose my own loads and get 65% of the revenue with 100% of the surcharge. Hey, I will tell you this. There are companies that do not pay you 100% of the surcharge, which doesn't make any sense. And presumably then the amount of the load is written on there where you can see it. Because if you're going to get percentage, you should get a full percentage of it. Just seen a truck going down the road, the trailer door flapping in the wind. So, well, the trailers need to be aired out. You know, the trailers need to be aired out to be safe for loading. I hear several new drivers working for 31 or 32. Is this a common wage? At some companies, it is. I'm seeing in the high 20s at some places. 31 or 32 is really low. And you can do better than that depending on where you live. You might be able to do another 18 cents than that or more. So 18 cents over the first year, you're looking at, $18,000 difference just by doing a little checking around. Don't just go to the first place that runs a Facebook ad or brings pizza into your truck school, certainly. You use your Jet A mind trick. These are not the ELDs you're looking for. Yeah, I mean, some of the officers don't even know what they're looking for because there's so many different kinds of ELDs. Ryan says, here's a tip for owner-operators. High crankcase pressure, morning line change the center, change the filter, and blow out the return line. Needed an overhaul. Anytime you would need an overhaul, I would get a second opinion for sure. Because what's an overhaul cost? It's got to be like $2,000 or something, right? Holy mackerel. $2,000. What did Mark just say? No way. It's more than that. Right. Okay. I know it's more than that. But if it's something big like that, you got to get a second opinion. I think you can only connect one ELD to your truck at a time, so you'll need to fake ELD app. It's currently in development. I actually think you would sell that, to be honest with you. It takes skill to pull a 40-foot or longer trailer around the city when the streets were built 150 years ago. Yeah, East Coast local drivers should make tons of money. Mr. Omaha, we're doing great here. What's going on out there? Randy Trucker, I help Werner make all their profits. They need to pass it on to the drivers. If they're at 32 cents, I mean, that's U.S. Express territory. That's really low. Is that household goods miles? Don't tell me that's household miles, too. That's the downside of some of these places. They don't give you practical miles. And some of these places, I'm going to have a video about this, right? I have a bunch of tariffs from these companies. And that's the amount of money that they charge shippers. Okay, so the amount of money that they get for detention and layover and, waiting time. What am I thinking? Stop pay is incredible. The amount of money that they charge in their tariffs. And I have their tariffs and downloaded them. It's just sad how little of it gets passed to anybody. And I think owner-operators now should ask for that tariff sheet as well to make sure you're really getting 65% of what they're saying. They say one thing, their tariff sheets show something completely different. The company with the trailer door has an open door policy. Holy moly. Yikes. That's what we think about that. Open door policy. That's good. We'll give you that. Werner's household goods miles. So 32 cents on household goods miles. That's another 10% off. That's really high 20s. That is no good. What is their excuse for paying household goods miles today? Oh, we don't have the technology. That's usually what they said. That's how everybody pays it. Household goods miles is zip code to zip code. It's horrible. Chicago is a big city with a big, you can deliver way on the other end and drive up there for nothing. Household goods miles is no longer acceptable really in the industry. To start, and then you get out of there if you're somewhere as soon as possible. You'll get a raise just for the same amount of pay somewhere else because of that. Earl says your truck payment is reasonable. You're only paying $465 a week for the tractor. That's not terrible pay, right? $1,600 a month. Your uncle said no and told you to shut up and drive. Oh, that isn't fair. This is interesting, this $465 a week. So what is that net? What is the net on that for an owner-operator there who's leasing a truck? We'll see if we'll determine, is that a good amount of pay? As they're $465, is that more than a company driver would make? That's the question. Full overhaul on a DD15 is $37,000. Well, the average used truck price, only $48,000, $48,800. Do you think then, if you needed a $37,000 overhaul, isn't it worth just buying another truck? Because the truck is just about totaled then. What do you think about that? Because if the average price is $48,000, you should be able to get a whole nother truck for $37,000. Isn't that a better deal? Schneider National pays household goods as well. Yeah, Schneider is horrible, and they're one of the places that say, oh, well, we don't have any way to pay any other way. That's how everybody pays it. And that's totally not true. Most places don't pay it that way. They can call themselves the Schneider National, whatever. They make tons of money on this household goods because none of them in their tariffs have household goods. It's all practical miles. They're charging the shipper practical miles and paying you household miles. They're making all that money on the split and then only paying you the household. It doesn't make any sense to the company driver. It makes sense to them. Thank goodness you're getting 55 cents a mile as a company driver at Outdoors Hillbilly. That's better. You're 25 cents over some of these places. Ryan says to overhaul the engine completely is $30,000. When you flew the crankcase return line, it will stop up. That's close to what another truck costs. Truck leasing is like turkey bacon to you. Oh, man, I got to hear the second line of that. Johnny, this is the most informative YouTube channel. Thank you for your time. Well, thank you very much. I try to get at least some information out there in between cat pictures. If you're going to pay even $30,000 and a truck is $48,800, a used truck, I think you seriously got to consider, hey, should I just get another truck? Maybe it's time to just get rid of this because all the rest of the trucks probably got a lot of miles on it too. You certainly have 1 million miles or something on it, presumably. Glenn started at 54 cents a mile. Imagine what if you just started at 32 cents a mile and household goods miles. You might not be driving right now because you're coming home with a $600 some gross check, and then which they got to take stuff out. You're doing $400 a week. It's crazy. Dennis, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Nobody would stay. That's why everybody quits. You come in, you tell your spouse or whatever, I'm leaving, or your life partner, whatever it is these days, right? That I'm going to go driving, and then your check's $400 or $500 gross, and you take home $375, and you're like, I don't know, I'm supposed to make money, and your gender inspecific partner, life partner, says, well, you got to make more money than that, and so I think it's a big problem. So starting people in the 30s anymore is just not acceptable anymore, just not acceptable. My expenses come out to $1,000 plus probably fuel. What matters is what you take home, though. The net is what matters. You can gross all you want. Net is what you get paid for. I don't understand why anybody would do $37,000. These trucks are disposable and razors. I agree. So you're saying what I'm saying. If a used truck, that's close to the price of a truck. You might as well just junk it, right? Trade it and buy a truck. You'll still get something for it. Oh, that's a good question for you, Cassius King. How much is a used truck worth on trade if it needs an overhaul? Outdoors Hillbilly, like the show. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. What's the latest info on glider clips? Right, done. We're done with gliders. They ended that deal. That law changed. No gliders. We're finished. If I'm not grossing over $1,000 a week away from family, you're not going to do it, especially in wintertime. Yeah, you should certainly make the kind of money, right? Easy on the road, and that's easy to make on the road, no problem. There are drivers doing $600, $500. It doesn't make any sense, and you're not going to do it long because for $500, you can work in town. White Castle here has got a sign paying $12 an hour to start full time. That's $480 a week at White Castle. Plus, you probably can eat White Castles all day, which is even better for everybody that's been on this side of the Mississippi River. But seriously, if you can make $480 at White Castle and you're going to go to one of these large companies and make $600, no way is it worth it. It costs that much just to buy helmets at the Loves every week, for crying out loud. Outdoors Hillbilly watches every Monday. I appreciate you being here every week, and everybody that's here on the Monday show. When we started this out a long time ago, the first show I remember there were like 2 people, so I didn't think that was ever going to to get anywhere. Believe me, I thought, wow, 2 people, right? I was amazed, but then thought, oh, just 2 people, where's that going to? You just left Schneider National for that reason. Your average paycheck was $550. That's not enough money. That is not near enough money to be gone from your family, from your life. And they have no excuse to pay this household goods miles. They could give everybody a raise just by paying them practical miles, which is what they charge shippers. I didn't find any tariffs at any of the companies that I had that didn't charge shippers practical miles. They're all charging on a practical rate. At $500 a week, there's no budget for roller wieners. Yeah, just the roller wiener budget is going to be that. I mean, totally, even on sale. They're not that big. Just drive for Uber for that. You could make that on Uber. You could do easy $100 a day net to you if you're buying, unless you live in East Armpit where there's no Uber service. If you live near any kind of large city, you can do that and just be home every day. $500 a week, there's no way. You should be compensated to be gone. And if you're at a place where you're making that kind of money, you should call them and say, look, I'm gone from my family. Why am I making $500 a week? That is no kind of money. But they're probably just going to say, oh, well, that's just what drivers pay. That's what you get. That's good money, Ryan, when you get into the used truck, you don't know if the engine will need to be rebuilt or not. It would be better to rebuild the one you have to know it will last a lot longer. Maybe. I'm concerned about the rest of the truck, which has 1.2 million on it or whatever. We got to replace the rears and everything else. It's still got a lot of miles. It's kind of like a car. Once you get a larger pair, it's just time to get rid of it and get another one. What's that truck? You're going to get some kind of trade too, right? It's going to be worth something even though it needs to be rebuilt. In Werner, dedicated Pennsylvania to New York City is 66 cents. Yeah, it ought to be. 66 cents. Look, to go to New York City, it needs to pay 66 cents a mile. And I don't want to run New York City on mileage ever. You're not going to dedicate me to New York City on mileage. No way. If you're going through town and you have a load there, but to dedicate to New York City, that isn't great money. You're going to sit in traffic all day for that kind of money. New York City dedicated needs to be hourly for sure. Once you hit the border, you're on the clock. You do not want mileage in the city. No way. Doesn't matter what the pay is. You don't want to work for household goods on principle. That's true. On principle, you shouldn't do it. The places, it's not like they're giving you some kind of raise to do household goods miles. They don't do that. And 66 cents a mile, no way, right? It could be New York all day, right? But no way. Kim, I calculate my income by how many miles do I have to drive to afford my roller wieners. Yeah, we need to figure out each day, okay, the first 47 miles are going to pay for my roller wieners today. And then that's how we do it. That's first line on any budget. Dave Ramsey will tell you that, I believe. I'm not sure, but I think so. I think he said you can have a roller wiener line on there. Jesus, cameras and trucks are coming. Company where I'd work, they announced cameras facing in and out. Congratulations. They're going to install in trucks in or near the near future. Why are they doing that? What is their thought on installing them in and out? And remember, the one in also has a microphone on it too. They always do. It's probably Lytics. There's a couple systems. I'm curious on what their reasoning is for that when they put them in every truck rather than just the people that are a problem. Earl, that's why I bought AM buying this truck. Where'd I go here? Right. Okay. In my first paycheck, I brought home after expenses $14.68. Okay, that's not bad money. I will say that isn't bad. That isn't enough, I don't think, to own the truck. Personally, that's just me. That's good money. Let's say that's good money. All right, that's still good money. But $14.68 with no benefits is, like I said, insurance is $450 a week. So you're down to $1,000 if you bought health insurance for yourself. So that's the thing about leasing a truck. It's just you bought yourself a job, and people buy themselves a job. That seems good money without benefits, though. K-Dub, a little late today, but thanks for the dash cam. Okay, GP Transco will like to hear that. They were in earlier to me, wanted to make sure everybody got them. Thank you for saying that, and I will then put this back up here since you brought that up. The dash cams were provided by GP Transco last week, so that was pretty nice of them. They offered that. I didn't ask them for it, so I want to put that out there for GP Transco. And don't forget, we always have Blue Parrots on the show. Be sure to get your Blue Parrot. And the cat always also on the show. So naturally, she wants to know what's going on. She'll be going to sleep soon, I'm sure. Anybody that gets paid that much on dedicated isn't running a lot of miles. He makes 72 cents. He's not running a lot. Well, it depends, right? I was grossing over 2,000. That's even better. Hey, Mark, you drive a big rig for a company that pays $13 an hour. Just hanging on. Yikes. You got to get out of there. They're paying $12 at White Castle, which I just said earlier. So, are you not in a city or whatever where you can get out and find a better job? I mean, seriously, there are jobs that pay way better than that for drive. You can drive a B truck in Indianapolis for $20 an hour. Your prime family benefits are $350 a week. That's crazy at a company. Holy mackerel. Me and my wife pay about $71 a week through my company for health insurance. So $350, they're not paying much of that benefit than at Prime. And they should. They're a large company. And, you would think a company like that would have better benefits. I don't know if that's how much they are, but that's a lot of money for family benefits to come out every single week. Yikes. I wonder what these camera thing. Oh, right. And load volumes, where did I go here? Westfield Transport is closed for people that didn't hear it earlier. That is a company involved in that motorcycle accident in New Hampshire a little bit ago where that guy killed all those motorcyclists. The company that he drove for, Westfield Transport, closed their doors. So now nobody's got anywhere to go. There was $750,000 of insurance, and everybody will have to split that. That was involved in that because they're going to sue him, of course. If there's probably already a lawsuit that I didn't see, they're just going to get $750,000. Nobody's going to have any money. You're not going to sue this guy who's in jail, and he's on an immigration hold. That's what they put him on. They're not saying, oh, he's not illegal, but he's on a hold, because even if you're here legally on a green card, I think that if you commit felonies, they can withdraw that and boot you back out to your own country. So he may or may not be legal on that, which doesn't really matter. The crime that he committed is enough to keep him in jail, I think, anyways. Glenn pays $40 a week for a buy-up plan. That isn't bad. $40 a week. How many people is that for $40 a week? Don't forget, also, you may be able to take your CDL test out of state now. For people that are in truck school or whatever, if you're going to a company, name your large company, and you're at a different state, they're thinking about changing the law where you'll be able to take your knowledge test even somewhere else. You won't have to do any of your testing in your own state. Now you have to go back and do your testing or whatever. They're thinking of changing that so that wherever you are, you'll be able to take that knowledge test there, and it'll be transmitted back to your state. And you won't have to worry about, I've got to go back to get my license. And what that will do is benefit large carriers that don't have to send you home to get your license. They can get you right on the road and making that $300 a week that they're about to start paying you. $2,000 a week is 1,300 miles at 66 cents. Now, that's okay. I do not want 66 cents to sit around in New York City at all. I want to be paid on the clock to sit there, because that's going to be 70 hours of sitting around in New York City. And 70 hours at $27 an hour, on the East Coast, you should get more than that. Should be $2,500. So if that was 70 hours for $2,000, that's what, $18 an hour, plus overtime. That's not great pay when you look at it like that. That it's weekly is great, but that it's hourly, it's really not that much money more than you would make anywhere else. And I would say at 66 cents, they probably still get a tough time getting people to go to New York City. Who would want to do it? When I get your CDL, you were with USA in Indianapolis. Got your CDL there and transferred it to Tennessee. That's what you used to have to do. They're thinking you won't have to do that now. They are considering changing that so that, say you go to school like that in Indianapolis, you'll do all the testing there, done. You won't have to do anything on your home state. Just when you go there, you'll just pick up your license. There won't be any more testing, won't be anything else about that. They said it'll streamline people that are in school, and it probably will help people in school, really. How do you keep the roller wiener grease off your fingerless gloves? We always have an extra pair of fingerless gloves because you never know what's going to get on them. A lot of things could get on there. Mark, what was the name for the company? G something with the nice trucks. I don't know. G something with the nice trucks. Are we talking about GP Transco? That's possible. I always like Cascadias, and that color, incredible, right? So we'll put it up there as GP Transco. Be sure to talk to them if you need a decent job somewhere, especially if you're making $13 an hour, driving a truck, because that's crazy. I'm sure everybody here agrees that's really, really low. You can go anywhere else and get a better place than that. James Faust, it's been nice. Doctor's appointment. Okay, thanks for coming in. I hope that goes well. Let me know how that goes today. Hopefully going good on that. I don't know if anybody will be affected by this change of the CDL testing. But I know that at some places, they make you get your permit first, and then they make you go back for your knowledge test, and they do a skills test. It would consolidate everything into one place, so you don't have to keep going back and forth. I have to go back, and then I have to get my license. I have to do a test. It would help people, new people to the industry that way. It'll help companies too. But at least this would be something that would actually help drivers. Cedric says, Beelman gives free health care to employees and $50 a week for a family, $500 deduction. That's pretty good. That is really good. I'm seeing more places now that are offering free health care, at least to the driver. There's some of those too. And the amount that it covers varies widely. So you'll have to check in advance. Some of them that announce free health care, it isn't great. It's like doesn't cover anything. But a $500 deduction, that is very good. Why can't they pass a law to help drivers make money legally for the time they put in? Well, I would agree that drivers should be paid for their time, and we should be subject to the same laws as everybody else, meaning that there shouldn't be allowed to work you without paying you. But the only law is minimum wage in the United States. The problem is people will accept working for nothing. That's the thing of it. You know, people accept working for nothing, and that's it. You know, what am I making? Not as much as everybody on here. I work a very light run to give me more time for YouTube. So I would say probably most of the people here make more than me. Would trucking be better if I went back to the times before deregulation? No, because drivers' pay was inflated artificially by the government. You couldn't open a new route. It's like you wanted to go, I want to do Detroit to Indianapolis. You have to prove to the government that there's a need there before you can put a truck on. So drivers' pay was artificially inflated by a limited supply of trucks. So people made more because of the government, that the thing they hate, the regulation of that is why they made more money. So no, I'm not in for the deregulation. What people should do now is not accept not being paid for their time. You know, that's the only reason that people don't get paid. And all you could ask the government for is minimum wage. And that isn't any kind of money. James is glad to be part of the live show. Thanks for everything I do. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Does GP Transco hire from all over the country? I don't know what their hiring area is off the top of my head. I don't recruit for them. I just like the place. So if they're on here, they'll answer. Sometimes they're in the live show. If not, you can always check them out at gptransco.com/drivegp. I just happen to like the place. They pay really well and are really nice. Everybody that's called them that then has talked to me, you know, they're really nice about it. So then you don't get that in the industry. So, but this passing a law to help drivers make more money. There's a good question for that. What would be the law that the Congress federal Congress should pass to make drivers, make more money legally for the time that they put in? What would the law you would say should be for that? Z Hoverboard, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you being here. Okay, Jesus says cameras create good driving habits. Right. That's what we were told, and also said drivers are so, of course. Look, they put out these videos and stuff and say, oh, drivers love it. It's the best thing ever. I love the good driving habits. I haven't heard that one before. No, it doesn't. It makes you stare at the camera. It makes you wonder, is that light going to go off? Am I going to be called in again? I love that they said some drivers are so happy. Those are the brown nosers there that they're always going to put out there. But drivers are never happy with cameras. You don't have people saying, oh, I'm so happy they put a camera in my truck. I mean, there might be a few people, but no way. No, it's not every driver. And they do not create a good driving habit. You either already have a good driving habit or you don't. They know at your place who's safe and who isn't. They should focus on the people that are unsafe, not, flat pan everybody, whatever that means, which I just made up in my head, where they just, put all this over everybody. It's not fair to everybody else. I don't need a camera to watch me, right? I don't have any tickets or accidents, so I'm not the problem. Go talk to the guy over there with the truck that's all beat up and all the fairings are all bent. Go talk to that driver. Leave me alone. Do I have an opinion on U.S. Holland or YRC? Well, I'll tell you this. For people that write that have a family, that's usually where I send them because they have this dock to driver program, and you never have to be gone from your house. They'll put you on, pay your insurance. It's free insurance. They have cameras. I believe they both have cameras now, but it's free insurance and the pay is really good. And if you'll stay there and move up the seniority list, it'll be a good place. But here we got this camera problem again, to creating good habits, right? I don't believe it. Outdoor Sibley says GP will hire from anywhere In the over-the-road division, call and talk to John. There you go. There's somebody from it. I do not recruit for them. I don't take any money from trucking companies, just so people know. People always ask that. I do not. So they're not on here paying me. I didn't get anything out of that. So a repeal of FLSA would be a great start. Yeah, look, the Federal Labor Standards Act from the 30s exempts transportation from minimum wage and overtime. But, okay, so then if you repeal that, okay, now transportation has to be paid minimum wage. That's not great. You know, it's $7.25 an hour. That's not a lot of money. So, and remember, to get that money, you have to log your time. So maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. But time that you're going to put down that is off duty, which people do a lot of now, and sleeper time, you're not getting paid for that time. So all your time, which you should be logging anyway, you're going to need to log on duty time. And really, you'd get paid more now. The other side of not being paid is this. When you accept not being paid, the company has no incentive to ever pay you for anything. So anything you do for them where you sit for free or log stuff incorrectly, where you know that you're logging it incorrectly because you're not being paid, they have no incentive to change at all. You have to log all that legal. Always log legal. If they don't like it, that's too bad. If you're 10 minutes from a place, you stop and say, I can't go on. It's 10 hours. I'll see you. If that started happening a lot, there'd be a big change in this. But until people work for pay, then if you'll work for free, of course a company is going to do it. Of course a company is going to do it. Z Hoverboard. Thoughts on Stevens? Not a fan. I'm sure. Let's see if other people think that it's a great place. Okay. Steel Horse. Stevens, bad. Exactly. I don't need good habits. You're a truck driver. Right. We already have all the good habits that we need, right? Cameras make good driving habits. That's garbage. Why did they hire me then? I'd say, so you're saying I don't have good driving habits. Now why did you hire me? Why did they hire anybody? There's nobody there is good at driving habits. These are all just garbage reasons. It's an insurance thing. And I don't know why large companies do it because they're mostly self-insured for their first $1 million or whatever. So, look, you could tell them this. Swift turned off the camera that faces the driver. The driver's revolted, basically, got mad about it. And Swift turned off the one and said, look, if you don't believe it's off, you don't believe us that we turned it off, you can cover it. You can go ahead and cover the camera if you want because we're not watching you in the truck. So if Swift is going to do that, there's no reason anybody else can't do it. These companies, and they're coming to all trucks. I assume eventually all trucks will have them or a lot of trucks. And how they'll differentiate themselves will be like Ashley Furniture, who says in their ads, no driver-facing camera. So now you'll get companies that say that in their ad. And that's how they'll work on hiring people that way. No camera. That's, it'll change to that. Stevens is Excrement Express. Any thoughts on Cypress out of Florida? I don't know anything about Cypress in Florida. When I called Stevens, they wouldn't talk to me. Okay, and even though I pushed them on it and wrote to them, they still wouldn't talk to me. So there are always a few Stevens drivers on here usually that can give more information. Any company that won't answer my questions before I apply, I'm out. So I call them and I go, I want to know about this. And, oh, you have to apply. I'm like, I'm not going to apply until I know the deal there. Well, we don't answer questions until you apply, and then you can talk to somebody who can answer your questions. So that's enough for me to be out of it. They should answer. Why can't you answer my questions? It's simple. If I have a question, what is the pay there or whatever it is, they should give me an answer. Here's what we pay. Not you have to apply and then we'll talk to you. That doesn't make any sense to me. Roger is looking for experienced flatbed drivers in West Tennessee. 28% to start. Run the way you like on the truck. 90 miles an hour. That has to be employee, of course. Remember when you had 3 switches to turn on your lights? Yes. A foot switch for the high beams? Of course. I've had cars with that too. And pull-out switch for the flashers along with non-canceling turn signals. Yeah, my turn signals still don't cancel, so I don't know about that. But, yeah, 3 switches were big on Max and Fords were always big on that. I think Kenworths did that too, right? Because it was like starting the space shuttle. You're flicking all these lights to get all these turned on, turn fuel tank heaters, lights, everything, turn all these switches on, right? It's like blast off in there. Are cameras at Holland and YRC driver facing? I think so. That's what I'm saying. I think so, but I'm not 100% sure on it. Jesus, the sweeter they talk, they imply the new rule, it's the other way around. Oh, yeah. And to say, drivers love it, baloney. I mean, if given a choice, most drivers would not have it. It's all for them, and it's just ridiculous. You're going to be looking at that light, And you're going to have to determine then, because you're already there, you shouldn't just quit probably, but it depends how they treat you about it. Who's calling you? How often do they bother you about it? Is it micromanagement? Some places aren't bad about it. From what people write to me about some places, like a McDonald's or whatever, they're really good about it. They have them, no problems, unless it's really a safety issue. Otherwise, they leave you alone about it. But some companies, they're on you about it every 2 seconds. So you'll have to determine that and see if you want to stay there. If they turn off the driver-facing camera, how will they know how pretty you are today? That's true. Huh? You could put on your helmet and text a picture to them. I see more and more companies getting cameras, especially hazmat tankers, really. But companies with cams tend to have high turnover rate. Yeah, and they usually pay less, usually, not always, like Yellow and that. But a lot of them are new companies. It just depends. Wild man, I start with a company next. They advertise no cameras. Was a big factor. Yeah, to change to a company? Oh, absolutely. I always ask, do you have driver-facing cameras? They need to know that people are asking about it and are disconcerted about it. They're not, don't want to work there. Backwoods Northwest, have I heard or know how far back the hair follicle test goes back? Well, it depends how long your hair is, right? But 90 days. And it depends on the company because it's not a DOT required test. Some companies do it, some companies don't. I don't know if you should ask them, though. If you want to go there, hey, how far back does that drug test go? So, I mean, seriously, I don't know if I would ask them that, at least not on my own phone. You can sometimes find out online, but I don't know if I'd ask them on my phone line about a hair follicle test. But you're looking at 90 days, right? What's a good cents per mile for company driver with 2 years? Oh, yeah, what do we think about that? I'm going to say 50 plus, right? YRC only has road-facing cams. No driver's union will for cams looking at the driver. I don't know. Okay, I didn't know they had. Okay, so it's road only. I don't know if the union would allow it or not. We'll see, right? Red Monkey says, trucking, the only time PTL ever contacted you is following too close. Yeah, so if they have a camera and they don't bother you about it, that's one thing. Some of them are okay about it. But like at Red Monkey, if they bothered you every time it went off or every line you went over, that'd get really annoying really fast. So if they're not bothering you about it, then, it's not as big of a deal. The way they treat you, that's how everybody quits. It's almost never about the money unless you're only making $300 a week. It's treatment. It's always this treatment. Trucker Hershey says party at Mark's in a few weeks. Yeah, we're coming up on the 2-year anniversary here at Trucking Answers. It's going to be exciting. What do I think about night transportation? Well, they don't have a contract. That's why, and they pay you in training. So for get started, okay, right? They're household goods miles, which is not great. You can get started without a contract, though, and get some experience and then get out. Although people stay there and like it. For a large carrier, I get a lot of people writing to me that like it. Well, man, no super singles as they are advertised it right next to no cameras. Okay, if you want the no super singles, that's good. I'm waiting to get a trailer that has them because I do a lot of drop and hook. I haven't had one yet to see how they are. Death proof, nice. Go to work for a company with driver cam and put on a VR headset and pretend to drive. Oh, I wonder what that would do, right? Fuelish trucker. The whole new drug test thing is going to be just splitting hairs with people. Holy moly. Here it is again. Cisco in Minnesota's driver-facing cams and the Teamsters were okay with it. I don't think they're not as strong as they used to be. They shouldn't have. As soon as they say that, if I was running the Teamsters, I'd be like, nobody's driving until those cameras get peeled off the windshield, period. And believe me, they would come off of there, no problem. There's somebody, a UPS driver, who was in the news. Now, they drive a package van, but listen to this. So he drives the package van. He had to go to the hospital because it was so hot those last couple weeks or whatever. It turns out around the country, there are hundreds of UPS drivers that are taken to the hospital, sometimes in an ambulance, from their van because it's so hot in there and there's no air conditioning. And he was griping, and UPS said, well, air wouldn't do the drivers any good, so we're not going to install it. Those guys are union. You can get air in your truck one day. Every UPS shuts down. Nobody comes to work on Monday morning until they put air in the truck or agree to it. Simple as that. The reason they don't have air is they don't want air because they won't stick together to get air conditioning. Drivers are literally going to the hospital with heat stroke from these trucks. And UPS is like, well, I don't know what to tell you. Roger says, some people say in-cab cameras are a violation of privacy, but they're not as long as you're in the truck. Look, legally in the United States, they're allowed. I don't like them. I do kind of think it's, maybe not an invasion of privacy because you're at work, But who wants to be watched all day? I don't feel like the company thinks you're a professional if they need to watch you do your job all day. That's why they hire you, especially if you're an experienced driver, to come in and drive the truck. All right, I got this. Okay, they can leave me alone. Just tell me where to go, right? I got it. We're going to get it there. It's going to be safe. Not going to have any problems. I don't need them. I don't need somebody at the office, usually somebody that doesn't drive, right, to watch me and determine, from 12 seconds or 15 seconds of video, whether I'm a safe driver or not. That kind of thing is ridiculous. Some people get fired for it. For a couple of things on here where somebody pulls in front of you and they only see a few seconds, and then some pinhead at the office who doesn't drive, writes you up and you eventually get fired. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I've got this. Just let me do my job. Whether it's an invasion of privacy, not legally, I guess. 421 says air gas has cameras. They don't bother the driver unless they screw up right. So just leave me alone. I don't like them watching me anyway. But as long as they leave you alone about it, I probably wouldn't quit over it. It's not worth quitting. But going somewhere, if I had to go somewhere, I absolutely would ask them about the cameras and whether they had them. And a place that had them would be no. Trucker Hershey said, wife's out of town party. Yeah, she'll be gone for about 10 days. She goes every year to Seattle. So that will be a blast, I guess. It'll be bachelor at Mark's house. 421, Old Dominion has super singles and they're on their pup dollies. I think that's dangerous. If one side blows out, I haven't seen one on a pup yet. That'd really be something. Old Dominion, I see those guys all the time. I'll have to see. Well, I haven't been going through Indianapolis, though, because the road's been closed. I've been taking back roads. Cameras on the rear of the trailer would not complain about. Yeah, look, there should be a backup camera. Cars are required to have a backup camera. Why there isn't some wireless camera system on trucks now is just beyond me. Our company runs nothing but super singles and trailers. It doesn't bother you. The trailers have over 130,000 miles. Yeah, okay. I've heard back and forth from people. I've never had to drive a super single. I'm waiting. How long till cameras in the bunk? I bet some of them have them in there and don't tell you. I bet there is some of that. Backwoods Northwest. Okay, you're quite welcome. Roger, the U.S. military veterans having cameras looking at us will seriously affect PTSD. Makes us feel like we're being watched, or honey, you are being watched, ironically. And that's interesting. So, that's very interesting. I wonder if you can get a medical exemption. You would ask, you or somebody in your position with PTSD should actually ask them for a medical exception to say, look, I want an exception for this because of a medical condition that I legitimately have. That's very interesting. They would be required, I think, to grant that. I mean, what are they going to say? Because how would that go on the news? So that's very good. I never thought about that, and, because I don't have that, so I never thought about it, and I think you're right. And if that does make you feel like that, you should ask them to take it out immediately or allow you to at least cover it up. I totally agree. It's hard enough dealing with that while having some camera looking at you all the day. Jay, baby, sit me driving. I'll not work there if you have in-cab camera. Yeah, going to one place is one thing, and quitting is another thing. Called in a rush driver who was tailgating 2 feet behind four-wheelers. No one needs to be doing this dangerous. Yeah, look, and people always say, oh, don't be a snitch or whatever. If somebody's doing something super unsafe like that, you got to call them in. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not like you're calling in somebody going 57 and a 55, all right? But 2 feet behind four-wheelers, somebody is going to get killed. And that kind of driver is somebody who needs to be off the road. So that isn't snitching or whatever, on that person. That's crazy. That kind of unsafe thing is crazy. A dash cam would help with that so that you could show exactly what happened. Outdoors Hillbilly says, Transport America Safety is one of those companies that will call you every 15 minutes for anything little. Now, how annoying would that be? And it's probably somebody calling you that doesn't drive, and so that is super aggravating, and that's just going to make people quit. It doesn't make any sense. It should be super unsafe things like this rush driver. Otherwise, leave people alone. Josh, that'll probably be steering in regards to camera in the bunk after what happened. Well, I'm surprised they don't have them facing in yet. They're only outbound right now. But maybe they need one. Look, if I was going to be an over-the-road trainer again, I would have the dash cam like I use, right, which I've done a video about, and which GP Transco is the one that they gave away. It faces in or out. You can turn it off facing in. It's the one I use in my cars, too. I bought 2 more of them for my cars. But it faces in, and I would probably have it running facing in all the time just for everybody's safety. because then there's no question about what happened in the truck. I mean, there it kind of makes sense there to have everything. So there's no question about what's going on. It's not for driving, but for everybody's safety. And I think that might make trainers or the students feel a little better, because you tell them, look, this is going to record everything here. And so that's for everybody's safety, so that there's no question about what I'm doing. There's no question about what you're doing. That may not be a bad idea. Fueler's trucker, how about a driver-facing sign that says, I quit? Oh, that'd be a good thing. Stick that on there and then press the button on the camera. Most of them have a button that you can activate and make a recording. Yeah, tell them, read this. A lot of people get into trucking because you don't have a super over your shoulder all day. Exactly. But cams have allowed the super to tune in on drivers, and cams can be viewed in real time, not just the 12 seconds. That's correct. 421. Now, J.J. Keller has one and others. I did a video about the J.J. Keller dash cam. They say right in their advertising for their sales brochures, watch your drivers in real time. So they can watch you in real time no matter what the company tells you. It's right in their sales brochures. I put it on the video. But absolutely, they can watch you anytime like that. Absolutely. No matter what they tell you. The sales brochures, when they're selling to the companies, hey, watch your drivers real time. Ralph says, I wouldn't work for a company that has cameras. You'd put tape over the camera and have it in the cab. I will say this, for company drivers that have a camera in the truck, I don't recommend you cover it up, because generally you'll be terminated. So it's usually a policy at these companies that I'm seeing. If you cover it, you'll be fired. We don't want that. You're welcome to quit or whatever, but I don't really recommend you covering the camera, because you'll probably be fired. Texas Trader said you spent $60,000 on 2 useless degrees and would spend $7,000 gladly on a CDL. It's a good value. At 7, it's a good value. At 15, it's a good value. Education is a good value for that because of what you're going to get out of it. Cash King Treat said the trucker's coach home for having PTSD. Okay, they sent him. He had to get an extra paperwork filled out to verify that. Some kind of medical. He's doing videos about it. I don't want to impinge on what he's doing over there, because that's his deal for that, and you can go watch that, which I actually think is kind of interesting. I've never heard of a company that sends you home with extra medical things that you have to do. It seems like it's almost like discrimination to me for, to say, oh, you have this, now you have to do a separate thing, even though you've already passed a physical. So, but he is doing the thing about it, which I think is interesting. And for people that want to follow it or have PTSD or anything, Trucker's Coach is doing a thing about it. So I think it's interesting. Does anyone else tip the shower attendants? Yeah, I started that years ago, and I usually leave at least a few bucks or $5. I don't shower at the showers anymore, but you should leave a few dollars or a few, maybe $5 to the shower attendants if the place is clean. Yes. Same as a motel. Of course, cash is king trucking. If you left $5 in a motel, it's like half of the price of the rooms that you get. So at 20%, you're only leaving like 83 cents. But people that get a regular priced room, they can leave, you should leave some, always tip your maid there. I think I missed it. Any recommendations for good GPS? No, you didn't miss it. I haven't put one out. I've never tried one. I use Google Maps, which is free, and some common sense, literally, by calling the place, satellite viewing where I'm going, Google Maps, and just knowing the country. And I think that's good enough, personally, to get where you're going. There are truck GPSs, but I'd be afraid to use them. I don't even allow brokers to track the load through my phone. I agree, because once again, it affects your PTSD and makes you feel like you're being hunted. Okay, and I think that's fair. I agree with that with anybody, but I think you have a more legitimate reason than anybody else. Certainly. Backwoods Northwest, you live an hour away from Seattle. All right, I'll send my wife over there and say hi. Dennis, tip the shower person. Tell them it's there. Hey, here's the shower over here. Look, people in there, they work hard. If the shower's clean, right, there's no reason, right, not to tip them. Crete wouldn't hire him. I thought they did hire him. I don't want to impinge on what he's doing over there. BS, maybe you should go back. I don't know about all that. Right. Yeah, it is funny. We talked about this at the truck show when I went down there in March. That's a lot of companies talk about being veteran friendly. We love veterans. And then they give veterans a hard time. So a lot of it at places, they're just talking about it. Like Red Classic, right, doesn't just talk about it, which is another place I like. They're wrapping veterans trucks. They have a big veterans wrap. They'll wrap your truck there, a full wrap on the veterans trucks. And they thank the veterans to do stuff for them, special jackets and stuff. And then places that talk about it, it's just to get people in there. It's just, that's worse. That's worse than just not even saying anything about it. Fuelless trucker's been known to talk to yourself from time to time. 90% of the time, you're not listening to yourself. My fears with the company would listen over the driver-facing camera. They will. They'll listen to your phone calls, too. It's a microphone in there. So you make a call to another company for a job, they could listen to that. You make a call to whatever, a psychiatrist or your doctor or a cancer doctor, which I always thought of too, right? And they go, oh, we need to get rid of this person because they have cancer. They're going to start costing us money. That's all possible. You make a call to whatever campaign you like, whichever candidate, right, that you like, and they go, and maybe the person listening is of the other persuasion for candidates, and they go, well, we'll give this guy or woman problems. There's a lot of ways that can be used against you or for you. Maybe they do like, oh, we're going to give this person more things. I guess that would be helpful, but I don't like it. I don't like them listening. Ralph says, your truck is your home, basically. The camera could be an invasion of privacy even when you're shut down. Most places, I will say this, allow you to cover it if you're parked. They allow you to put the thing over, either the visor down or close the curtains if you're stopped, if you're not driving. Ralph says Rand McNally is trash. Josh agrees on Google Maps. I think Google Maps, satellite view, a little common sense, and a phone call to the place you're going, I think is all you need. These GPSs are expensive and they're not great, and people rely on them too much. Don't rely on that 100%. You know that Google Maps is cars only, so you're going to pay more attention. Some people send people home from the craziest thing. Companies at Smith, a guy was sent home for a stress testing, completed it, and was never hired. Oh, nice. So they said, well, I guess they go, we don't like your test. You passed it. Interesting. I guess they don't have to hire him, but that's crazy. Why would they pay for a test and then not hire him? About a recommendation for a dash cam, you can't find one that loop records and sticks securely. Look, the one I use, the ASAKO Dashcam, which there's a link at truckinganswersnation.com. So if you're going to buy it, I would prefer you to buy it through there. That helps the channel and doesn't cost you anything. Anyhow, that's the one I use, and I bought 2 more of them. So they sent me that one to test. I liked it. Here's why I like it. Number one, it has an inside-facing camera and outside. You can turn the one inside off. But why would you turn it on if there's a cop at your door talking to you? That's why you would record the cop there with a camera. There's no question of what happened. It's just a button to turn it on, easy. Normally, I only record outside. Number 2, it has a 20-minute battery, which is really long on these dash cams. Usually, they only record a few minutes when you're parked. So this is 20 minutes. And during this heat, I left it stuck on the windshield. It is stuck good. I haven't had any issues with it sticking. It does not come with an SD card. You'll have to get a memory card. I have a 64 gig card in mine, and it shows about 6 hours and 20 minutes of record time on that length of card. So, and it's about $90, I think, on there. Worth it, I think, because it records very good. It has Starvis night vision technology. So I really like it, and I use it and bought 2 of them myself. So I put them in our cars. I use it all the time. Oh, my God, you should have seen the hotel where you were in this weekend. It was family owned. They lived right there in the lobby. That's awesome. I mean, you always talk about the hotels. Some of them you've paid over $20 for a night, so that is good. Some you had to pay by the hour. I don't understand that. Cash is king. You wear your headset all the time now so people don't know you're talking to yourself. They just think you're in the phone. Look, that's another thing drivers are required to have. Besides the gloves, fingerless gloves, you have to wear your headset 24 hours a day no matter where you are. That is the trucking lifestyle. So wherever you walk, it doesn't matter where you are in the truck stop, you always wear it. Even if the microphone is up. I see a lot of that. They just flip the microphone up. You have to have it on. You never know when there's going to be an important call that you're going to get. You leave the shower attendant a pink starburst. Well, I will say at least that's something. That's more than a lot of people do. 421 has PTSD and want to bash security guards' heads in at some of these places. Some of them deserve it. Some of them are dumbfounded and give you a hard time. They think that they're cops, and they give them a little bit of power because they put a badge on them, and it's just ridiculous. I sound like Mel Torme with that snazzy microphone. Oh, the velvet voice, right? I can't think of it. Oh, that would be great. Mel Torme, I wish. Thank you very much. This is a blue snowball microphone for people that are wondering, which is probably only me. Good afternoon, Mark Zell. This Friday was a year with KLLM. Oh, nice. You're taking your vacation and out. Oh, and a local job, paid hourly and home every day. Hey, look, you got your experience there. You found out it's not a great place, but it helped you out. and you're going to get a local job. Congratulations for that, by the way. Whatever than the guy in security that beat up in the place in Memphis when arrested him for his wife. I don't know. I didn't hear any more. I haven't looked any more into it. It hasn't been in the news or anything, so I don't know if that's going to court or what happened. Wonder why Google Maps doesn't have truck routing. I always thought, also somebody said it wasn't, that in the Play Store there is a truck routing map that you can buy. And it was like $189 or something, but I don't know. And I think that they just don't want to get into it. They would make it a separate thing that you could pay for. I don't think it's worth it. Personally, I don't think it's worth it. I've driven all these years, in my extreme upper 30s. But, starting out, amazingly, as young people will find out, we didn't actually have a phone we could carry with us, amazingly, at some point. We had to go to the Flying J and wait in line behind some guy chain smoking Camels all day to get in that little booth to make a phone call to our wives. So, always just had regular GPS, and I think that's enough. You need to use some of your own senses to get around too. But with regular GPS, Google Maps is enough. I think it's enough. Dennis, awesome show again. Thank you very much. Nice work for the trucking community. You appreciate it. Look forward to next Monday. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you coming in today and saying that. Never rely on the GPS on your phone. They're not trucker friendly. That's true. They're not trucker friendly. I always say that. It's part common sense. But where does it help? When you're on the last road, the kind of final mile thing. And it's 2 a.m. and the road signs aren't lit up and you don't know, is this the street I turn on? Is this First Avenue? Is that First Avenue? That will say no. It's 3 more streets is First Avenue. That's where that kind of thing really, really helps you. Smith didn't pay for the stress test. He had to come out of his own pocket. Oh, that's enough not to do it. Really? Oh, say sorry. You're paying for my testing. You want the test? You get it. Crazy. Cassius King got a medieval helmet retrofitted for Blue Parrot will fit inside of it. Oh, I wonder if any of them do that. They should have a Bluetooth enabled helmet in there. I'm going to recommend that to them when I go get fuel. The CDL Life app has a truck route planner that works good, and it's GPS, and it's free. Would you trust it? That's the question. That's a legitimate question. You got into a fight. You just about got into a fight with a Love's employee in Houston. What's going on down there in Houston? Is the heat just getting to everybody? Did KLLM buy out TransCares? No, they bought they might have bought that out. They bought out the refrigerated division of Maverick, certainly. Cassius King, your GPS on your phone is truck routing Copilot. Did you get that from the Play Store, or do you have an Apple phone, or how did that work? Joshua, good afternoon from Illinois. Hello, next door neighbor. The only dash cam Ryan likes is a personal dash cam. You had to pull a gun on someone, caught it all on camera. Boss said, we need the footage, right? They can get it from your lawyer, and you were not fired. That's great. Everybody should run a dash cam, whether you get the one that I have here that I like or some dash cam, including in your cars. There's so many accidents and stuff. Run a dash cam. Kevin, you can get them now for like $30 to start. It's not as great a quality, but I'm just saying it could save your career. Kevin, reportedly there are many trucking jobs that no one wants. Attention, trucking industry, make trucking more like the battle at the end of Mad Max. That now we can get some people hired. Holy moly. I was actually wondering what kind of microphone you're using. Oh, okay. It is a Blue Snowball, right? And I got it on Amazon. It's on a holder here, so pretty nice. I think they sound pretty good. Works way better than the one that's built in, so I thought everybody would be able to hear me better, and hopefully they do. Why do truckers bash Swift? I don't know. They're not nearly as bad as way worse places, that there are in the industry. Not the lowest pay, nothing, right? There are places that pay a dime less than Swift and have driver-facing cameras, which Swift doesn't have. So, Channel S, CHS, use a Garmin dash cam, right? And so that's forward only, right? I just like the facing in part. I thought, this is a really good idea. The camera that I have there is actually sold for Uber type of drivers and Lyft, so you can monitor what's going on in your car, but you can also monitor who comes up to your window and stuff like that, and it just turns on with a button. So I thought it was a really good idea. Maybe not. There are ones that cost less that don't have that interior camera. Get what you like, but always run a dash cam in the truck and in your cars. It might save your whole career. A ticket in your car can get you fired from your job. It doesn't make it doesn't make any sense, but a lot of places do that. So as I wrap it up, I want to tell people to be sure to get a Blue Parrot as well and be safe. Of course, running a Blue Parrot As always, I want to thank GP Transco for being in the chat today, answering questions, providing dash cams, and just in general being a great place to work, in my opinion, with great trucks. And, give them a call if you need a job at a good place, so you don't have any kind of problems at some of these places. Holy moly. Check out Jay, of course, tomorrow, Auto Transport Intel, at 8 p.m. Central, right there on his YouTube channel. He goes live 8 p.m. Central. Check him out, and check out CTS Business Coaching if you want to get in to some business coaching. And we will take a cat break, naturally. And this is what happens at the end of the day when you work for a mega carrier. You get a lot of 34-hour breaks. That's how it goes there. So I have to go make my company some money, though, as usual. So thanks for being here, Josh, and thanks for being here, Joshua, and everybody that was on here today. Cash is King Trucking. Hope you get a motel room for more than $22 tonight. So that'll be wonderful. Sam, thanks for being here. Take care. Everybody be safe out there, of course. Your trucking company requires forward-facing cameras. That's not a bad idea, right? And it's just a good idea anyway. I think everybody would admit that. GT40, thanks for being here. 421, well, they advertise up to 87,000. Okay, they do advertise 87. They have a new bonus program, and they're certainly worth a phone call. Company is always worth the phone call. Ask them your questions. They'll actually answer your questions, which is something worth something. That's no problem, GP Transco. Thanks for being here, always in the chat. I know you're busy. You're running a corporation over there, and I'm just me here on the computer. So, DA, that is a $59 cat tower on sale at Wayfair. So, $59. I don't have any $400 for the cat. Holy moly. Brandon, thanks for coming in. Johnny, it's been good to be here, and but I am headed out to hit the road with everybody else. So I'll see you on the road. Be safe out there, and I'll see you next week.